Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Sam Redgate-Large channel for the first watch along of the season after an absolute catastrophe yesterday when we attempted to do a live stream with a power cut within, I think it was within 4 minutes of me starting the stream, which obviously scuppered my plans for the day. We are back today and we're back with the important one. It's Chelsea, it's Spurs, it's a London derby, and it should be a really great game. I'm excited for it. I hope you guys are excited for it as well. And if you are in the chat, as always, do be sure to get in the chat and let's have a little bit of a chat and have a bit of a talk about what's going on. So as you can see, as from the end of last season, this is a different setup. I'm not using my green screen anymore because we've got quite a nice sort of setup around me when you sort of look at it. So hence why I haven't chosen to do it, and it kind of makes a bit more sense. But Chelsea and Spurs, London derby, both sides have made plenty of transfers this season, and both don't look like they're done either. And it's a big game, of course. If you think about last season, Chelsea really got the better of Spurs on multiple occasions last season. I believe it was 4 times, maybe 3 or 4 times last season, where Chelsea came to play Tottenham and they won, and Spurs didn't really look like they had an answer. I always say when you go through these London teams, particularly with Chelsea, Arsenal and Tottenham, that Chelsea seem to beat Tottenham, Tottenham seem to beat Arsenal, Arsenal seem to beat Chelsea. Doesn't matter on the form, but this time I'm a little bit worried. I am a little bit worried. I haven't seen Chelsea play. That being said, I haven't seen anyone play so far this season, with me being away last weekend. And of course, yesterday having a power cut did make it a little bit difficult to watch the football when you don't have a TV to watch it on. But it really was good. And afternoon to Fraser. Why have you got Sideshow Bob on the thumbnail, Sam? Just thought it'd be fitting. And we'll have a look at the teams, but Mark Cucurella, who Fraser is referring to there, is actually starting his first competitive start for Chelsea, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in Chelsea blue, which of course is something that I was looking forward to potentially watching last weekend, but like I say, I was away last weekend. But if you were to ask me how anyone's played so far this season, I won't be able to give you a half-decent answer because, like I say, not seen any of the football. So for me, this is a blank canvas for Chelsea to go out there and prove themselves, and of course Tottenham as well, to show what they can do under Antonio Conte. Just a little bit of housekeeping. If you are new to this channel, do be sure to smash that like button and do hit subscribe as well. And you can see scrolling across the bottom not only the score from earlier, which was Nottingham Forest have come out victors there in what seems like a crazy, little bit of a messy game as well. They came out 1-0 victors in that game. And the second one is that there is a fantasy Premier League code, which will be scrolling down here. It's just about to come onto your screens now, scrolling across the bottom there. So do be sure to, if you haven't already and you enjoy playing fantasy football, to come onto our league. There's about 35 of us in there. A lot of them are friends of the channel. Obviously a few of my friends from home, and you know, other bits and bobs as well, and have a nice competitive channel league this season. An afternoon to Sean as well, who has joined us for the time being. In case if you are wondering, if I look down here, this direction where I'm looking now, that is where my laptop is. My TV's over there, and of course my camera is on a stand here. So it does feel a little bit weird to sit and talk directly to a camera, but it's just like I'm recording a video anyway, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference. But that's why if you see me checking my phone, it's because I'm checking the chat on my phone. Don't think it's just me being really rude and annoying. Don't worry. Don't you worry. But let's jump into it. Let's go through the teams, and I'm going to have to come down here for a second and just swap over onto the screens. There we are. And we have got the team lineups on here. Do let me know if you guys can see that okay. I will just double check it on my phone. You should be able to see that pretty decently at the moment. But oh, you can upgrade the quality. Higher picture quality. Yes, please. Why would it not be higher picture quality? It shoots it shoots in higher quality, so I don't know why it wouldn't automatically do that, YouTube. I do not know why you wouldn't do that. Anyway, whilst I get distracted about picture quality, let's have a look at the teams for today. And I'll just give us a quick zoom in so that we can see the screens just a little bit better, because I am a little bit conscious that that might not be okay for most people. Some people might struggle. But there we are. So we'll start off with the Chelsea team then. That you should be able to definitely see this. Sean's gone with his prediction of 5-0. And, I mean, we joked about it in the Arsenal game, didn't we? When Chelsea and Arsenal played, and it was, what was it? It was 4-2 to Arsenal, and Curly plucked out a 4-4 prediction. And at the time, we were all like, oh, what are you on about, Curly? But now, obviously, it didn't look actually like that bad a prediction. So I am sure that it might come back to bite me on the backside, that one. But Sean's going with a 5-5 prediction. If you had to go for another prediction though, Sean, which is maybe a little bit more realistic than a 5-5, let us know what you go with. But let's start off with the home side then for today's game. And as you can see, we do have Chelsea's team on the screen, and I will just run us through it and we can have a little bit of a talk about it as well. So starting ourselves off in goal, as always in this Chelsea side, is Edouard Mendy. Man needs no introduction now. He absolutely needs no introduction whatsoever. He's been fantastic over the last few seasons for Chelsea, and you know, he's one of those players who is a staple player in this Chelsea side. Speaking of a staple player, we move into the three at the back, and one of those is Thiago Silva. Chelsea do have a little bit of a centre-back crisis at the moment, still looking to try and get Wesley Fofana across the line, and they've been sniffing around everyone this season, haven't they? Jules Koundé, Kimpembe as well, just to name a few that they've been sniffing around. But Thiago Silva is still a mainstay, despite being 36 years of age in this Chelsea side, which is credit to him and the level that he's still performing at, the Brazilian. The one change to this defensive back three from the game against Everton, where Chelsea did win 1-0, is the fact that Reece James has dropped back from his regular wing-back role into the right centre-back role to replace Cesar Azpilicueta. And then the left centre-back, like I say, the same as last weekend, and that is Kalidou Koulibaly. Next up is the wing-backs, and this is where it gets a little bit different. Of course, we've seen Reece James play at the right centre-half before, but usually when he does that, it's with Azpilicueta in that right wing-back role, who, Azpilicueta, of course, did just sign a new two-year new deal. 2-year new deal. Yeah, I did say that right. Didn't I? But today we don't have that. We have the luxury of playing Ruben Loftus-Cheek off that right-hand side. We saw Thomas Tuchel tinker with this last season and play it a little bit, and maybe Loftus-Cheek might be able to find a calling here. As we know, he's very quick, powerful and strong. But technically, his dribbling is probably the best asset that Ruben Loftus-Cheek does have, using that big frame of his to move himself around. 26 years of age now, needs to find some form in this Chelsea team, and if that happens to be coming as a right wing back, I'm sure Ruben Loftus-Cheek won't mind. He can definitely do it, and I'm looking forward to seeing him do it. It does seem a little bit strange to me, because I do know like the likes of Ben Chilwell are on the bench, so I don't know why you wouldn't start Marc Cucurella as the centre half and play Ben Chilwell off the left hand side, and then you get to be able to move Reece James up onto that right wing back. But you know, Thomas Tuchel gets paid the big money, so let's see how that decision favours him. Next up is the two across the midfield, which is N'Golo Kante and Jorginho. Jorginho, of course, the captain today, in the absence of Cesar Azpilicueta. And then, like I mentioned, left wing back, first competitive start for Marc Cucurella, who obviously made that big money transfer from Brighton. A little bit of a confusing time that was, as Fabrizio Romano here we go'd it, and of course we all know the storyline that Brighton decided to say that the transfer wasn't confirmed, but look how quickly that turned to bite them on the backsides there. It definitely turned around quite quickly for them. Then we shall move on to that front three of Chelsea, which at the moment is looking a little bit depleted with Timo Werner going back to RB Leipzig. A sad sight for me. The man put in such a shift. He might not have been the most prolific, but for me, Timo Werner had the right attitude, and I can only thank him. I really can only thank him. He was excellent whenever he did play. At creating opportunities for other people. He might not have been the best of goal scorers, and he might not have been the 25 goal a season goal scorer that we expected we had on our hands when we bought Timo Werner from Leipzig, but he was a good player and he had the right attitude, and for me that is a lot greater attribute than actually scoring the goals. If you're able to set up other people, your likes of Mason Mount, and win the penalties for Jorginho, for me that definitely was an attribute that we needed, and it's why that I am sorry that he's left, unlike Romelu Lukaku. But like I say, that does mean that Chelsea are a little bit depleted up front. That being said, they are still able to name Kai Havertz, Mason Mount and Raheem Sterling as their three up front. And if you were to say to someone, oh yeah, that's a depleted strike force, you'd be like, that's a little bit naive. But you know, Chelsea last few seasons have had such depth with Ziyech, Pulisic, Werner, Lukaku, all of these players, Tammy Abraham as well at one point, Giroud. You had all this depth up front, which we don't have now, which of course, as you can see on your screen right now, this has gone with Raheem Sterling to play as a false nine. Thomas Tuchel did sort of rumour that. He did speak about how he would kind of like to see if Sterling can play through that middle. With Havertz being on the pitch though, as we update, with Havertz being on the pitch though, I cannot imagine a position where actually we would play Raheem Sterling through the middle, especially against some of these bigger defenders. One thing that Kai Havertz does have is that big frame and that ability to, you know, hold himself properly against the taller defenders, and he always does have a moment of brilliance like we saw against Newcastle at the back end of last season. But like I say, I'm excited to see what it is, and of course Mason Mount, who is up there, he is starting from the right hand side. It's no doubt to me that he'll be on that right hand side. It's just whether Sterling or Havertz end up swapping round. Right, and then let's have a look at the opposition then, shall we? Let's have a look at the opposition and see what the white side of London are bringing to the table. And afternoon to Max, who has just joined us as well. Apologies, Sean, I missed your message there. He says, have you had any ice creams for breakfast this morning? Not this morning, Sean, but it's definitely ice cream for breakfast type morning, isn't it? It's absolutely swelteringly hot at the moment, so do be sure you keep yourselves nice and hydrated as well. But afternoon to Max, who has joined us. Celtic won 5-0, crikey. Good for Celtic, that is. I'm sure Josh Ring won't be overly pleased to see a 5-0 win for Celtic, though. But let's talk Tottenham Hotspur, and as Max has joined in, what a perfect time to... Sideshow Bob doesn't play for Chelsea. I mean, Cucurella does, so if that's what you're saying, then he definitely does. He definitely does. But as Max is in, let's talk about Tottenham. I guess we have to be a little bit unbiased. Start ourselves off, of course, in goal. Like I said with Chelsea, it's exactly the same thing. You know who's going to start in goal. It's Hugo Lloris, the captain for Tottenham Hotspur. Let's not dwell on that one. We know his talents. We know he's got a mistake in him. Let's leave it there. Then we move on to, of course, this Antonio Conte 3-4-3, which actually worked quite effectively for them last season. They definitely looked like they were on the up. I know Max called me out the other day on Instagram DMs, being like, oh, you said Conte would flop, and only time will tell. I wonder how well this team is going to be integrated, and see if they can keep up this good form that they have shown so far. But one of the big changes, like I say, is that movement to a three at the back, with Ben Davies dropping in at that left centre-half role, and he's been pretty impeccable in that left centre-half role. Of course, we know he's a good defender. We knew he was a good left-back, but he seems to have lost that yard of pace. Moving him into that three at the back seems to have done done him the world of wonders. I tell you what, it seems to have done him loads, and just, benefited him. And so why not start him, as always, at that left centre-half role? And to be honest with you, I don't think they have too many options to replace that. Of course, they've got Clement Longley, who is on the bench as well, with another defensive option. Eric Dyer and Christian Romero, again, two players who last season were solid. Christian Romero, if I can get the word out, we saw a few sort of glimpses of what he could do, but we didn't maybe see everything because of injuries as well. So again, interesting to see how he plays. This is a much different side to the Tottenham side that did play us in the EFL Cup, where they really didn't put up a good performance, and they played their way into trouble, if I do remember correctly. They did play their way into trouble, and they were the catalysts of their own downfall. And maybe with this different centre-half partnership, no Tanganga in there, maybe that can benefit them. I've just seen Jordan's come in. I'll check my phone in a sec so I can read the comments. It's just a little bit out of, like your eye range, just to read it properly. I can read sort of the short ones, but Jordan's put like 3 lines across on my screen, so I can't quite read it properly. But afternoon to you, Jordan, as well. The 4 across midfield, or the 2 wing-backs and the 2 centre midfielders, this is pretty much going to match Chelsea today, so it's going to be a really interesting battle, and I think this midfield battle will be key between Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Rodrigo Bentancur. Of course, Bentancur was fantastic when he came in last season. Not quite as good as Dejan Kulusevski, but he's been fantastic so far. And Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, we know what he can do. He often plays a little bit more attacking, doesn't he, when he plays for Denmark, which might be an asset that you might want to be able to bring in, especially if they're getting overrun in midfield. And then Ryan Sessegnon, a man who, to be honest with you, it looked like his career might have been on its way out in terms of, not his whole career, but in terms of his Tottenham career. Of course, he scored something like 17, 18 goals from left back for Fulham a few seasons ago in the Championship. And he never really hit the ground running at Spurs. And then, as I'm sure I'm not the only person who did this, I can sympathise with everyone. We all brought in Ivan Perisic, and Antonio Conte did his best Pep Guardiola impression and decided he wanted to do a little bit of what we call Pep Roulette, and for some reason played Ryan Sessegnon. But he cannot complain. What a start that was for Ryan Sessegnon this season. Got himself a goal, put in a good performance, and like I say, maybe be able to save his Tottenham Hotspur career. He is only like 22, 23 still, so he's still got plenty of longevity, and maybe having that extra few seasons to sort of gel with the club, know the club, might have helped him just that little bit more and really get into that bottle job mentality that Spurs players seem to have. And on that right hand side, Emerson Royale, again, another player who was talked about a lot last season, but it's a little bit too early to comment whether he could change the form around, but that rating from last weekend showed that he's made a good start to life this season in the Premier League. Maybe could have taken him a little bit of time to adjust. Right, let's have a look at some of the comments before we get onto the front three, who, again, don't really need too much of an introduction. Let's have a look. Said Max. Max says, Sam's going to have a good day today. All Chelsea fans will. Jordan says, I see you put 50p in the meter today. Got your ad revenue paid. Did you put a bet on, Sam? I haven't put a bet on for this season. I've not done that, actually. Now that you've mentioned that, Sean, I've not put a bet on for this season, I must say. I usually do when it comes to, obviously, you guys can bet at will and do whatever you want with betting, but always be, gamble aware. Just got to put that one out. Make sure you're 18 and above if you are going to do it. But I usually just put a bet on, like, every single... I'll stick like a quid. I know it's a bit boring, but I stick like a quid on every league and who I think's going to win it. So basically, have this massive accumulator. It goes up to like 278,000 to 1, and then that's what I do. That's how I do it. Or it's just like the maximum bet you can put on it at that point. It's just a little bit of fun, the off chance that this small percentage that I do actually get it right. you know, it might actually benefit me. I'm sure I could do with 100 and something thousand pounds. I think everyone could, to be honest with you. Batman says, issue with Tottenham is they are weak in defence. We'll have to wait and see today, won't we? We'll have to wait and see today. I can't really make a comment at the moment. They've definitely, like you say, improved but weak. Potentially, yeah, there's a reason, surely there's a reason why Clement Longley has left Barcelona, other than the fact he wants his wages paying. But surely there's a reason there. But who knows? People like to rekindle their careers, don't they, when they make a transfer? Cameron says, hi Sam, how are you? I'm absolutely fine, Cameron. Thanks for stopping by and hope you are well as well, mate. Conte has improved our defence so much on paper. It looks weak, but they have been playing really well recently, says Max. I can vouch for that. I can definitely vouch for that as well. But those are the lineups, and let's just have a quick gander, if I can. Oh, I'm going to fall off my seat here. I do apologise for this. I need to think of a better way to do this. I forgot Yves Bissouma had transferred as well. Perisic, Matt Doherty, of course, no Richarlison today, who is on the bench. But as you can see, this is how the Premier League table looks. And as always, Manchester City get themselves off to a fantastic start. Heading the season, leading at the top. They are one of, well, I guess both of these two sides could get themselves level on points with Manchester City and Arsenal come the end of this game. It could also end up being that they're just, literally one place higher. But as you can see, it is Chelsea, it is Tottenham, and who are sat there in 7th and 8th at the moment after both picking up their wins. Nottingham Forest, who just picked up a win, like I mentioned earlier on, against West Ham United. And then, of course, right at that bottom, Manchester United fans, look away now. Manchester United right at the bottom. But let's take ourselves back to the live screen. I will be back on your screen at the moment. To be fair, you can see me in the mirror. Hello. You can see me in the mirror anyway. I should just do this when I'm going down there and just stare at you all. I don't know if that'd be a little bit creepy. But, right, let me just sort this out. 2 seconds, ladies and gents. I just need to get this up to speed and get myself all sorted. I don't know why I've just put my Fire Stick remote, which isn't very helpful. It's right in front of me. But let me know your score predictions, ladies and gents. Get them in nice and early on and let us know what you think is going to happen in this game. Are Spurs going to win against Chelsea for the first time in over 5 years? Is that going to be the case, or will it be business as usual for Chelsea? I am hoping for business as usual. I'm sure any other Blues that are in here today will be hoping for the same thing as myself. But you never know when it's a London derby. Who did Chelsea play? We played last season. Last week, we did in fact play Everton with Frank Lampard's return. I do believe it was a penalty. Bit of a stonewall penalty from what I remember of seeing of it. But like I say, I didn't really see too much over the last few weekends. If you haven't already, guys, do be sure to smash that like button for us and do hit subscribe as well if you are new to the Sam Redgate-Large channel. It's been a little while, like I say, since we've been live on the SRL channel, and fortunately it started a little bit better than yesterday's attempt at a live stream. But thank you for bearing with me and, getting ourselves up to speed once again. I just cannot believe, we live in the 21st century, and not only did I have a power cut, which I could have dealt with, if we had the power cut, I could have dealt with it because my laptop was fully charged. I could have just whacked my phone on, which I tried to, whack my phone on with the internet, with, of course, with mobile data, and just, got on with it. Had to watch it on my phone, do it that way. But then for some reason, no signal whatsoever. Signal completely dropped out. I had 1 bar maximum, and I was like, there's no chance of me re-getting this, back up and running. There was no chance of it. Absolutely no chance of it. So let's hope that we don't have anything like that today, because from what I can work out, we didn't overly miss too much in terms of goals with Brighton and Newcastle, but apparently both teams do look very, very good at the moment. Of course, Brighton beating Manchester United last week, and maybe it is time. Let us know your thoughts, guys. Get your thoughts in on Manchester United. But maybe it is time for big changes at Manchester United to come to the forefront, because there clearly is something that isn't Manchester United DNA, that is in that Manchester United DNA at the moment, whether it's the money being taken out of the club allegedly by the Glazers or whatever, but something needs to change. I can appreciate the fact that actually, with someone like an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's a bit less of an experienced manager, or Ralph Rangnick, I still don't know how to pronounce his last name, but with a Ralph Rangnick in charge, who, hasn't been coaching for a while, I can appreciate that, there's always going to be a few problems with that kind of thing. But now they've got Erik ten Hag, who is proven in that Eredivisie, knows how a team runs, but why isn't it working for Manchester United? And I'm sure David De Gea, of course, spoke about it yesterday, and he came and did that interview, and I think that was really brave of him, actually. I know he had a poor game yesterday, but he's had a lot of critics over the last season and a half, and I think that's really brave of him to come out and hold his hands up and apologise. And I think it was the right thing to do, don't get me wrong, but I really think it was a brave thing to do, and I admire him for it, because it could have been quite easy for him to go into the dugout, hide away, turn himself off from everything, log himself out of Twitter, but he took it at the front and apologised to the fans as well, and that's what you have to do, really. That is what you have to do in those situations. But Manchester United, something needs to change there. You can blame Ronaldo all you like, but unfortunately Ronaldo wasn't playing, especially against Brighton, and you were already losing. So there is a problem. There's going to be, it's finding that source of the problem, and it depends on how high up that source of the problem is. With the Glazers, if it's all the way up at the top, then it's going to be very, very difficult for people to make that change without someone with billions of pounds to come in and buy Manchester United, because it's going to be a hefty takeover if anyone does manage to come in to Manchester United. Anyway, let's have a look at some of your score predictions. Let's have a look what we've got. Let's have a look. So Oliver has gone with, is that Patrick Vieira as your photo there, Oliver? It looks like it might be. Looking slightly creepy though. Oliver has gone with a 2-0 Chelsea win. So I don't know if that's Oliver feeling particularly biased towards me, or whether he genuinely thinks from last weekend's viewings of the football that Chelsea will be the better team, as we're zooming in there on Chelsea's new manager, Todd Boehly. Batman says there's a new United team in the top 6, and that's Newcastle United. Would not surprise me one bit, to be honest with you. Would not surprise me one bit. And then Max says Chelsea win, not expecting anything, 2-1 to Chelsea. See, this is where the problem lies for me. I don't know what to expect from either of these two teams, and I have a sneaking suspicion that I say this every time, okay? Anytime that there's like a big run, well, the run's got to come to an end. And why isn't it? Why not today? Why not today? Why would Tottenham's run of losing to Chelsea or not getting a result from Chelsea, why would that come to an end today? And it's that form, it's the new signings, and for me, I can see Spurs doing it. There could be the potential there. So I'm going to go with 2-1 Spurs. Excuse me. I'm going to go with 2-1 Spurs. Oh, if I don't die. Right, just before we get ourselves into this, let me take my microphone with me, actually. Just because I'm going to try get my timer all locked and loaded and ready to go. And I'm also going to open another window in here because it is absolutely boiling. I don't know, I'm assuming it is the same where everyone else is, but it's absolutely boiling today. And of course, having a big TV on and sitting here and watching the TV isn't going to help me cool off, because the TV itself is very producing a lot of heat. I've just noticed that Mason Mount and Kai Havertz have now got the same hairstyle completely and entirely. So that's going to be difficult to try and call out who's who from the commentary position. I'm sure I won't be the only person doing a watch along today to make that poor decision. But I am back now with my Cesc Fabregas shirt on at the back as well. Whoever scores first wins the game. That was nearly very Michael Owen of you there, Batman. It was very nearly very Michael Owen of you. Whoever scores the most wins the game. That would be more Michael Owen, wouldn't it? There we are. Something tickled my throat there. I think we're all playing down our teams not to expect anything. I mean, yeah, I think the only people who don't play down their team is Manchester City fans, and that's because they spend an absolute fortune, to be fair. So I just don't know where this Chelsea team's at. Like I say, you've lost two strikers in Lukaku and Werner, and whilst neither of them were the most prolific over the course of the last season, they're still strikers at the end of the day. They still have that natural ability. Of course, we've got Armando Broja on the bench today, who scored 6 goals for Southampton last season, but is he really going to be the person we're going to call upon? We need Sterling to get firing as soon as possible, getting those tap-ins just like he used to for Manchester City. I don't know what's going on with the text on the screen at the moment. I don't know why it's quite all the way up there. We will be getting underway in a short while. I'm just trying to move the chat box at the moment. But let's have a look then. We are going to be underway. Chelsea will be kicking off in this first half, kicking from right to left. Spurs playing in their white. Their usual home kit of white. Right, let's have a look for the first game of the season. We are underway. I say first game of the season. First game of the season for me. We are underway. And there we are. Let's move the chat box back. And now I can sit back and hopefully enjoy some good football. Thomas Tuchel's wearing a cap today. Fact or cap? That one is actually fact that he is wearing a cap. Oh, God. It's been too long. It has been too long. Why can't we play Alonso one more time, but as a striker? Honestly, he's lethal, isn't he? Marcus Alonso. Him and Reece James, I swear, if you put them two up front as a striking duo, I swear that they would absolutely bang in the goals. I reckon they'd score, between them, 12 goals a season. I reckon they would. I mean, they nearly score that anyway, and that's from right back. So, yeah, I reckon they could score 15 goals a season between the two of them up front. It'd be better than Werner and Lukaku's output, particularly for last season. But let's see how Chelsea start then today. Is it going to be a bright start? Of course, we've got Kalidou Koulibaly, who I've not seen play in a Chelsea shirt yet. There's a couple. Raheem Sterling as well. I've not seen play in a Chelsea shirt just yet because, like I say, last weekend I was busy. And, of course, as well, the final one is Marc Cucurella. Ball given away there, just inside the Chelsea half as Sterling looks to cut back. It falls, though, to Marc Cucurella, who rolls it down the line towards Mason Mount. Mount's going to have to cut back here and tries to flick it inside, but that's good defensive play there by Tottenham. But they've given the ball away again. That better not be a theme for Tottenham once again. And, the ball's been given away here, and Dejan Kulusevski rolls the ball through to Heung-min Son. Son has 2 Chelsea players against him. The opportunity might have gone, and Jorginho just about makes up for his error there. Jorginho was just a bit too slow, and Dejan Kulusevski did nick the ball out of his hands, or out of his feet, should I say, more aptly. God, I was absolutely fine, and then I've coughed once, and now all of a sudden my throat hurts. For God's sake, Max, for God's sake. Tottenham Hotspur free kick in an advanced position here. Let me chuck the background noise on as well. I keep forgetting all these fancy things I have on the channel here. Background noise for us, there we are. Right, sorted. That should be going. Do let me know if that is too loud. Tottenham Hotspur free kick. It's going to be Son to whip this one in towards the back post, and that is high wide and not at all handsome. Straight over the crossbar from Heung-min Son. Just put a little bit too much power on it there. Thought we were going to get the first opportunity to see Edouard Mendy tested at Stamford Bridge. So, at the moment, despite my negativity towards the fact that I thought Sterling and Havertz were going to, Sterling was going to play off the left, Havertz to the middle, at the moment they are set up so that Raheem Sterling is off Kai Havertz is off that left-hand side and Sterling is through the middle. Koulibaly drops it into Mount. It's quite a dynamic front three at the moment as well as Mount comes over onto that left-hand side. Chelsea give the ball away again. Here's Harry Kane. Rolls it into Heung-min Son. Shot blocked there by, I believe that was Thiago Silva, who'd managed to get back just in time. Here's Emerson. Kane. Looks for Emerson again. Good ball in behind. Straight into the hands there of Edouard Mendy. I thought Heung-min Son was just going to be lurking around that front post to try and get his toe in before Edouard Mendy could get to it, but eventually it wasn't the greatest of balls over the top back towards Emerson, which meant he had to stretch for it. And from that goal kick though, Chelsea play the ball forward. Mount wins the header towards Sterling, and Eric Dyer just completely flattens Raheem Sterling. Just moved him out his way, and that's what I mean about Kai Havertz. That's the difference that Kai Havertz can have in comparison to Raheem Sterling. God, I've coughed once, and now all of a sudden it's proper upset me. I do apologise, ladies and gents. Jorginho tries to flick the ball round the corner into, lovely turn there by Ruben Loftus-Cheek, gets away from his man, tries to chop inside, but Bentancur has kept him nice and close, and Kante comes to sweep and manages to win Chelsea a throw in. Yeah, I don't know, I literally coughed once. I was absolutely fine for however long, and now all of a sudden I've coughed once, and my throat feels like it's so tickly all the time. So tickly all the time. Is the game going to have a drinks break? It will do, Batman. It definitely will do. I think it has to be over 25 degrees in England for it to have a drinks break, and yes, so it definitely will. So I'll probably grab myself a drinks break as well at that point, and just see what's going on. And make sure I'm all topped up and replenished. That's a great ball over the top by Kalidou Koulibaly, going towards Kai Havertz, but good defensive play actually by Ryan Sessegnon to put in a half-decent shift there. Let us know your score predictions, guys. We are still only 5 minutes in, so if you are just joining us a little bit later on, do let us know these score predictions and what you think is going to happen for the game. And also, as well, as always, make sure to let us know where you think these guys are going to be finishing this season. I haven't done a Premier League prediction season video so far this season, and that was because, number one, I didn't really have too much time over the last few weeks, starting a new job, whatever. But number two, I didn't know the best way to do it, and I didn't know whether, maybe when there's a bit of a break, maybe when it comes to the international break that we tend to have in September, I don't know if we're having it then, but when the first international break comes, maybe we can have a bit of a live stream, bit of a live stream, and then we'll decide it ourselves, and we'll go through it and pick our Premier League prediction, and then we've got maybe a month's worth of knowledge to sort of base it off as well. Afternoon to Amy as well. Hope you are doing okay. Thank you for joining us. Here's Jorginho in a little bit of space here. He's going to drop it into Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who rolls it out wide to Reece James, who tries to pull the ball back into the box. It's going to fall to Marc Cucurella. It's blocked there by Bentancur. Comes back out to N'Golo Kante. Reece James has gone out onto that right-hand side momentarily. Into Kante. Kante puts in a lovely ball, and that problem again, like I said, with Raheem Sterling, just not quite strong enough. just not quite strong enough, and the ball whipped across the box, whipped across that 6-yard area, and Kante put in the good ball. I was meaning Sterling then. Sterling just couldn't quite get himself in front of the defender, and Christian Romero put in a decent shift. Who do you think has the best bench? Are you meaning for this game? By the late game? Because I'll tell you what, both the Chelsea and Tottenham backmen have completely revamped their benches. And they just look like completely different sides. I've got a picture of up there, I don't know if you can see it, and you can't see the reflection there, but I've got the Champions League photo from when we won the Champions League. And this Chelsea side is almost looking unrecognisable. It really is looking completely different at the moment. When you cast your mind back to that side that won the Champions League only 2 seasons ago. Cucurella there, just driving the ball forward, and some good defensive play by Romero, but Romero looks like he might have hurt himself as we go into just under 10 minutes on the clock. Still Chelsea 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. And to be honest with you, I won't be able to tell you who has started the better, of course, in those opening 3 or 4 moments. Tottenham did have a free kick, but other than that, we've not really had the first clear-cut opportunity of the game as we wander into the 10th minute. Well, 11th minute, because technically the first minute is... Yeah. I'm not explaining that. Koulibaly into Thiago Silva. What a vintage defence this Chelsea side has at the moment. A nice blend of youth and experience and just overall talent. Here's Mason Mount into a little bit of space, being trapped there by Bentancur. Finds Cucurella, rolls it out wide. Jorginho into Reece James, who rolls it down to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Here's Reece James just outside the box. He's going to whip the ball in there, looking for a cross towards the head of Raheem Sterling, which would have been the chest of anyone other than Raheem Sterling, to be honest with you. And Chelsea not able to do anything with it that time. Jorginho looks forward there, was looking to see if Kai Havertz was making a run, but he wasn't, and Chelsea have given the ball away. That's a cracking tackle, that is, from Jorginho there. Cracking tackle. Mark Cucurella it was, the man who lost the ball, but the Chelsea vice-captain comes in with an absolute corker of a tackle. Fraser's back. Good to have you back, Fraser. Good to have you back. And if you aren't subscribed to a Max Gamer 15 or Fraser, do be sure to go and follow them. And of course subscribe as well. Make sure you watch loads of Frasers so we can finally get him monetised. I don't know how you aren't monetised, Fraser. That's what's baffled me. Couple of heavy tackles coming in nice and early on, showing the tempo and the drama of this game already. There's been a couple I've seen from Jorginho, and there's just one there I think from Mason Mount as well. Both of them look up and ready to fight with this one, and that's what we need when it comes to a London derby. Tottenham throw-in in their own half here. That's a bit of a risky throw-in to throw that all the way over to Ben Davies, but clearly I had a lot more confidence in Ben Davies than I would have if I was the throw-in taker. They have given the ball away though, but just inside the Chelsea half. Here's Jorginho trying to turn out, but instead drops it back to Reece James. Reece James into Loftus-Cheek, flicks it round the corner to Kante. Kante has a bit of space there to gallop into, drops it to Loftus-Cheek. Good play here by Chelsea. Sterling into Jorginho. Jorginho out wide to Cucurella. Cucurella looks forward, going to whip it in, and that's just that ball there was just in between Havertz and Kante and found a Tottenham defender, but Chelsea recycled the play again as Ruben Loftus-Cheek is clattered through the back of by Ryan Sessegnon, and that'll be a free kick in a decent position for Chelsea, a decent crossing position anyway. Reece James will fancy his chances, and I'm sure Mason Mount will, to put in a good ball forward, but just a little bit late there from Ryan Sessegnon. Not too much in it, to be honest with you. A little bit of contact, and of course Ruben Loftus-Cheek will, any player will go down in that position. Oh, just trying to have a look through the chat for us, guys, but no one would put anything at the moment. Let Chelsea take the corner short. It goes to Mason Mount. Mount didn't quite look like he was on the same wavelength there, and the ball came out to N'Golo Kante, and Kante couldn't do much with it. That looked like it caught N'Golo Kante, not N'Golo Kante. That looked like it caught Mason Mount off guard a little bit. I'm not sure he was expecting a short free kick there. He was in a little bit of space, but I'm not sure he was quite expecting it, I must say. Do you think if Tottenham finish outside the top 5, Daniel Levy will keep spending money on players and keep listening to Conte? Probably not, because I know what Daniel Levy's like. If you don't get results, he won't keep backing you. And even when, Pochettino was getting results and got into that Champions League final, they didn't really spend that much in the grand scheme of things. I think there was one season as well where they didn't sign anyone at all. Which I guess if it's not broken, don't fix it. But it wasn't exactly fluidly moving anyway. It wasn't at its maximum capacity. So I would imagine that Conte, if he doesn't get that top 5 or if he doesn't get a top 4, I can imagine that Conte, number one with his job, will be very close to the end. But then I can see Levy just going, look, you've got the players that you wanted. You said these players would do it. I'll do it with them. And I think he'll have one chance. I think he'll have one chance, and if they stop performing, if they finish any lower than 7th, I think Conte would be walking a very, very fine line. And afternoon to Curved, who has just joined us. Thank you very much for joining, Curved. He says there's only one Sam Redgate-Large. There most certainly is, Curved. Great to have you back on the channel, mate, and I hope you are okay. Zero LDN says don't support Chelsea, but I hope Tottenham get battered. Well, that is that. As long as we all hate Tottenham, that is absolutely fine. Great to have you in, Zero LDN. Great to have you in. As long as that's all I care about. We all hate Tottenham, don't we? Lovely ball from Mount there, looking to flip that round the corner to Cucurella, and that is well defended that time by Emerson, who looks like he started quite bright. Chelsea seem to be now dominating and dictating play out of the two teams. Kante was a little bit fortunate with the way that had fallen for that attack to start anyway, but Chelsea looking like they're dominating and going to dictate play. We know Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea like to dominate the possession of the ball, and it looks like they're going to continue to do this throughout this first half anyway. 15 minutes in, they definitely have had the most of the possession. A little bit of a wobble there from Koulibaly, who nearly sold Cucurella short. Unfortunately, the two new signings were just on the correct wavelength at that point. That being said, Koulibaly gives the ball away, and he won it back there. Really well played there to win that one back there after making an initial poor pass and a mistake. Here is Ruben Loftus-Cheek off that right-hand side, who I'm already falling back in love with Ruben Loftus-Cheek at the moment. Havertz goes out onto that right-hand side again. There's so much fluidity of the movement of these Chelsea attackers, even down to their wing-backs at the moment, swapping and moving over. Havertz, Mount, Sterling, Reece James, Loftus-Cheek, they're all moving around and all creating a few questions for this Tottenham defence. Mount rolls it out to the left-hand side to Cucurella, back into Mason Mount. Sterling drops in. You're going to need some movement further forward though, Chelsea. Havertz might need to make a run to pull one off there. Koulibaly tried to look for him there. It goes into Reece James instead, and he tries to cross the ball. It drops to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Back out to Reece James, into Kante, into Loftus-Cheek again. Loftus-Cheek in the box, tries to go down towards the byline. Pulled back to Jorginho at the back, and that cross was just not what Chelsea needed at that moment in time. And Koulibaly's going to shoot! Ooh. Not a bad effort there from Kalidou Koulibaly. It just kind of popped up for him. It reminded me of Rudiger against Brentford last season with that long drive from outside the box, and it just kind of popped up for him. The initial cross that came in from Jorginho was easily cleared by Emerson, and it wasn't the greatest of clearances from Emerson, which fell to Kalidou Koulibaly, but it was absolutely blazed over. It's basically all or nothing for Conte this season. That's what I think it will be. Conte stayed for, 2 seasons at Chelsea, and even that was winning the Premier League. So I can imagine if he doesn't get his way as well, Conte is someone who isn't going to stick about. He won't take. He's not going to take your fuss, if you know what I mean. He'll just get on with it, and he'll go, right, I'll go leave then. Kante goes down the line to Raheem Sterling, who tries to flick it back to Havertz. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, that was such a well-worked move. What an attack that was from Chelsea. And that is squeezed wide. Havertz desperately unlucky. Desperately unlucky. The through ball from Kante. If that was Kevin De Bruyne, you would absolutely be saying he's one of the best. Oh, it's a fantastic save. I've spotted that actually. It's a fantastic save off the foot of Hugo Lloris. So it will be a Chelsea corner. A lovely bit of play from Chelsea there. A great start that they have made now. And that's the first big clear-cut opportunity for Chelsea. Marc Cucurella is going to take this corner. It's whipped in and it's hit the back post and it's gone in. Kalidou Koulibaly makes it 1-0 to Chelsea. On his home debut, Kalidou Koulibaly gets himself with a little volley at that back post, a side-footed volley that flies into the top corner. Who's marking him? I don't care, but Tottenham fans will be devastated with that. That is poor, poor defending from the Tottenham players. I don't know who was picking him up. He just kind of wandered into the space and on the inside of his foot has put it in the top corner, almost like a striker would. Who needs a striker when you've got Kalidou Koulibaly? What a finish that is, my son. What a finish that is, and what a way to get your first competitive Chelsea goal. What a finish. It's not even a side foot. Oh my gosh, what a finish that is. Sterling does well as well to duck out the way of it. But Chelsea get themselves underway nicely within 20 minutes here. What a finish from Kalidou Koulibaly. And Tottenham, have you got an answer to that? Or is it business as usual for Chelsea Football Club? Doesn't matter who the scorer is. Doesn't matter if we don't have a striker. Somehow, against Tottenham, we will find a way past their defence, and Chelsea don't even look like they're done there as Sterling looks to try and hit on the counter-attack nice and early on, get themselves straight back into it, and oh my gosh, what a start and what a finish from Koulibaly. What a finish. That's one to watch back tonight on Match of the Day if you aren't watching along with me, because I tell you what, Koulibaly has hit that like any good striker would. Kalidou Koulibaly, what a goal, my son. Take a bow. Take a bow. Right, I'm back in front of the camera once again. I just had to update the scoreboards at the bottom. Let's have a look then at some of the comments. Batman says Chelsea players have way more experience in bigger games than Tottenham players. Chelsea scored first, so they are winning the entire game. Like I said, Tottenham have a weak, non-experienced defence. Spurs have been very bad apart from the first 3 minutes, says Max. Max not feeling overly optimistic. Chelsea, I think, they've just not had an answer in this opening 20 minutes, Spurs, for Chelsea's passing and like some of the movement which I've been, talking about is Mount coming over to the left-hand side, Sterling going out to the right, Havertz going through the middle, everyone chopping and changing and swapping round. And so far, they've just not had a response to that movement, and they've not been able to track them. And you saw it in that goal there. Everyone was sucked in by all these attacking players. Koulibaly just stood at the back post, waited for the ball to drop in, and he's absolutely smacked it into that top corner. And Chelsea just don't look done whatsoever here. They don't look done whatsoever as Thiago Silva gives away a foul and there's a ball over the top there. Who just randomly cut to it. It's a good save from Edouard Mendy as Ryan Sessegnon, I believe it was, who managed to get him behind. It just cut to Ryan Sessegnon bearing down on the Chelsea goal, and it's a fantastic save by Edouard Mendy. It was how static everyone was. He might have been offside, might have been Marc Cucurella though playing him onside on the other side of the field. It is a good save, that. A very, very good save. But Ryan Sessegnon's movement there, very impressive. Managed to get himself in behind nice and sharp, and Chelsea players caught napping a little bit. Like I say, I think Chelsea players thought he was offside, but Marc Cucurella was playing him onside. Chelsea's new number 32. Let's see what Spurs' response can be like, because that was the criticism I had last season about Spurs in these Chelsea versus Spurs games, other than, I don't like Tottenham, is the fact that when they went behind against Chelsea, they didn't react very well. And that is what they need to do better at under Antonio Conte, is that reaction, especially in these big games like Batman talks about. They need to be able to react better, and that's what we need to see for them here today, is they managed to press and win the ball back that time from Chelsea. Havertz tries to get the ball back down to Mount. Chelsea just seem to be turning over possession and nicking it back from Spurs so quickly. Kante into Sterling. His first touch wasn't very good. Falls back to Kante into Sterling. Sterling goes out wide to Loftus-Cheek, who pulls it back, and that is an excellent piece of defending there from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. If he doesn't touch that, Mason Mount on the edge of the box will be lining up a strike from the edge of the box. Very impressive start there from Chelsea. Pleased with the way that they're playing. Just hopefully we can get one of those attackers on the score sheet. Can someone find out Tottenham's record against Tuchel? I don't think it's very good. I could probably find it out for yourself. Let's have a look. Head to head. When did Tuchel sign? It was January of 2021. When did we win the Champions League? 2021, didn't we? So it was January of 2021. 4th of February. Let me just double check. Yeah, that was it. So 4th of February 2021, Chelsea versus Spurs was it 2021? When did we win the Champions League? 29th of May 2021. Yeah, it was then. Chelsea beat Spurs 1-0, then it was 2-2 in a tournament club friendly, which is actually the most viewed video on this channel. Then it was 3-0 to Chelsea in the Premier League, 2-0 to Chelsea in the EFL Cup, 1-0 to Chelsea in the EFL Cup, and 2-0 to Chelsea in the Premier League, and that last one was in January when Ziyech scored an absolute stunner, I must say. But yes, so not very good at all. For Tottenham since Thomas Tuchel has come in. Apologies, I was just texting the mother. Right, we had a 0-0 at Stamford Bridge, but I think that was Lampard. It probably was, yes. It probably was. Peak Frank Lampard, Chelsea not being able to score. Lovely ball down the line there by Reece James, looking for Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who's just put the press on. Heung-min Son there, and that will be a Chelsea corner once again. Can they make it 2 for 2 on the corners and get themselves a goal? But like you say, Batman, against Thomas Tuchel, this Tottenham side, other than that 2-2 in pre-season last season, they haven't done anything. They literally haven't done anything. And that's not me being disrespectful towards this Tottenham team. They just haven't done anything. They really haven't. In comes this corner. It's going to fall to Koulibaly again. I tell you what, I don't know what Tottenham are thinking. Why aren't you marking the big centre half? Why aren't you marking him? This time he goes for a bit more of an acrobatic finish than the last one. But what is going on with this defensive performance from Tottenham from these corners? Because I tell you what, I think that was Emerson. If Emerson doesn't eventually end up tracking him, I think that would have been a goal, to be honest. It put him under just a little bit more pressure. Chelsea's biggest rival is Arsenal. Sorry, Tottenham. It most certainly is. Arsenal can actually turn up against us. Right, it's just a drinks break, so I'm going to go top up my drink and keep myself refreshed. So I'll be back in 2 seconds, ladies and gents. Back in 2. Right, let's have a look then. Still on our drinks break, ladies and gents, so cheers to everyone. Perfect time to watch this Chelsea goal once again. What a finish that is from Koulibaly. And like I say, well done to Raheem Sterling for moving out of the way of that, because that was a bullet. To be honest with you, I think Sterling was too small anyway. I think it would have gone over him. But that is an absolute bullet of a finish from Kalidou Koulibaly. And what a way to make your home debut in front of those adoring Chelsea fans. What a finish, lads. What a finish. Spurs are better than Arsenal, but Arsenal are better at beating Chelsea somehow. It's big game players, that's what it is. It's big game mentality. I don't know what it is about Spurs and their DNA, but there is. I know it's a bit of a joke that they're like they bottle it, but it happens that much that it has to be something to do with the DNA. There has to be something there. There has to be a mental block, whether it used to be called 3-point lane, White Hart Lane did. Like, there must be something, a mental block of some sort, when it comes to Tottenham, and just that expectation weighing down on you. Look, we haven't won since Dele Alli was in the form of his life, and God, that was a time ago. I think it's been about 6 years since Tottenham last beat Chelsea at all, let alone in the league. Koulibaly into the feet of Mount there, who slips, and he gives the ball to Bentancur. What a tackle that is. Koulibaly, he is on fire at the moment. Good turn from Loftus-Cheek, rolls it out wide to Raheem Sterling. Sterling on this left hand side now. Is he going to try cut in? He's got Cucurella doing an overlapping run. He tries to shoot, it goes through a crowd of bodies. A few lame appeals for a handball there from the Chelsea players. You beat us in 18-19, did you? Oh, yeah. You beat us in 2019 and 2018. And then before that, it was when Dele Alli was on fire, scoring twice. That is mental. So 4 years, not 6. I think you beat us 3 times in that season. Max. That is mental. I don't even remember which goal you're on about, to be honest, with Heung-min Son. I'm sure it'll come back to me. I've probably just erased it from my memory. Koulibaly, good ball into Mason Mount. His distribution so far, Koulibaly has been something else. He really looks like a good fit at the moment for Chelsea, and that is definitely a foul on Mason Mount there by the ginger from Sweden. He came from Juventus and he plays on the wing, but clearly isn't a very good defender, because that was a little bit late on Mason Mount there. Mount does well though, he gets his body in the way, really does get his body in the way. When he ran through your team, I genuinely don't remember that. I remember him running through Burnley's team last season, or the season before, but I don't remember him. I don't know. I can just remember Eden Hazard running through Arsenal's team. I hope Conor Gallagher comes on. Didn't Chelsea beat Tottenham 3 times in a row last season? 4 we did, yeah, 4. So swings and roundabouts, isn't it? But yeah, I hope Conor Gallagher comes on. I hope we can get him some minutes and that he can actually play. But the depth of this Chelsea side is unreal. Like, you talk about how having depth is good. There's going to be a free kick here from Cucurella, and that's a poor ball in though, from the new Chelsea signing. Flicked on back forward by Reece James. Havertz, good little bit of strength there, and tries to drive it into the box. I maybe think he thought he was going to give away a foul there, because it was very slow and lethargic the way he kicked it in. I don't know which video that is, which goal that is. I'm going to have to Google this right now. Son goal versus Chelsea. Son wonder goal. Let's have a look. Sterling into Reece James. Here's Koulibaly. Okay, that was the Harry Kane goal. That was a good finish, to be fair. I do not remember that goal whatsoever, Max. I'm not going to lie to you. I do not remember that goal whatsoever. So, there you are. I don't remember that goal. I've probably just blurted it and bleeped it out of my brain because, you know, it was Tottenham scoring a goal. Why would I remember any of them? It was a good finish. I think I remember the good footwork he did as he came in, but I don't remember the game, so don't remember that game. I've watched a lot of football in recent years. That's a good ball over the top, looking for Ryan Sessegnon there, but Edouard Mendy sharp and onto it there. 33 minutes on the clock. Chelsea 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. The goal coming from Koulibaly, who was unmarked at the back post from a corner and drove in a lovely little strike. What a finish it was from Kalidou Koulibaly. And Chelsea have looked the better of the two teams so far in this game. Here's Emerson, he's going to roll it down the line there too, the ginger from Sweden. He came from Juventus and he plays on the wing. But Cucurella easily able to take the ball away from him, and that's a delicate little flick that is from Havertz to find Mount, and Mount has just been fouled by Rodri Bentancur. It was a really good flick there from Kai Havertz. Lovely little bit of play, and Mason Mount realised there wasn't too many options to go forward, manages to win himself a free kick off Bentancur. A little bit of a silly free kick to give away if you Rodrigo Bentancur, though, as Reece James tries to take the ball out. A little bit fortunate that pass fell to Jorginho there, but you know, we'll take those little bits of luck. Flip round down the line from Mason Mount towards Kai Havertz, easily intercepted and covered by Romero. Here is the Spurs goalkeeper and captain, Hugo Lloris. He's going to switch one out towards Christian Romero once again, as Bayern Munich have just taken the lead. Speaking of Bayern Munich, I do believe that Kai Havertz was inquired about by Bayern Munich in the last week or so. So, that's interesting. I can't imagine Thomas Tuchel letting Havertz go as well. Otherwise, then who do we play up front? I know Havertz obviously works a little bit better as a false nine rather than a out-and-out striker. But then who would you play? That is the question. Emerson Royale there tries to go to the byline, pulls the ball back, goes straight into the hands of Edouard Mendy. If you are new to this channel, guys, and you haven't already, do be sure to smash that like button and do hit subscribe if you are enjoying, and can we get ourselves to 15 likes on the stream? That would be absolutely fantastic. Koulibaly, good clearance, manages to find the feet of Kai Havertz, who drops in deep. Mount, what a switch that is. Can Sterling get a good touch on it? He can, but it's good defensive play eventually by I believe that was Ryan Sessegnon. Sterling, white shirts, get back in their numbers. Jorginho, Mount's going to wander through. Oh, he's put it over. It was really, really good play as Chelsea wandered into their box there, but Mason Mount's finish was just not at the standard that it needed to be to find that top corner. Was not at the standard whatsoever, and Mason Mount will be a little bit disappointed with that finish. If he'd have just hit it a bit lower, then that would have been much better, much better. But good play from Chelsea, and like I say, that through ball from Mason Mount to initially find Raheem Sterling was top notch. Kante. I don't know how Spurs keep losing the ball so quickly. I like blink and all of a sudden Chelsea have the ball back again. Here's Mason Mount. Mount into Jorginho. Jorginho goes into Reece James, who looked like he was going to shoot. Fake to shoot into Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Good feet, Loftus-Cheek. Oh, he maybe could have gone down there, Loftus-Cheek. He's probably a little bit too honest there. I think he could have gone down. I do think he could have gone down there, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. There was contact, but he stayed on his feet, and Spurs get away with one. It was nice footwork, though, from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. For a big lad, he does have good feet. As in, good feet on the ball, not as in, like, I like his feet. Okay. Ziyech is one player I'm on the edge on, keeping or selling. I'm surprised Son is quiet in this game. Apparently Son has just done some wrestling with Reece James at some point, which we didn't see on our screens. But Son has been very quiet so far. But that being said, so is Harry Kane. I keep forgetting Harry Kane's even on the pitch. We've barely mentioned him since that opening sort of 3 or 4 minutes, that opening exchange. Jorginho, lovely ball down the line there. Just put a little bit too much power on the ball, and Eric Dyer can come across and play the ball off Mason Mount behind for a throw-in for Tottenham. Chelsea really do look well drilled. I don't know what Antonio Conte has told his Spurs side thus far, but whatever it is, hasn't worked for them at the moment as Havertz tries to win that header. I do think Havertz is going to have a big role to play in this. Just on Ziyech, as Batman was talking about him, Hakim Ziyech, for me, we've just not seen the best of Hakim Ziyech whatsoever. The player that we saw at Ajax, he's in there, you see it occasionally, but he's so clumsy with the way that he dribbles, and for me, he's just not at that level. If we wanted to, you look at the wingers in other teams, even, you look at Sterling when he was at Manchester City, that's a good pick-up though from N'Golo Kante then. Just hold that thought. Lovely play by Kai Havertz, oh my god, my voice cracked awfully there. Havertz, defending with, it was Sessegnon who was defending there, and Havertz has ended up losing the goal kick. Or is it a corner? It is a corner, it's been overturned. I can't remember what I was about to say, but that has gone from my head. Sam, I told you Conor Gallagher? What? Conor Gallagher wouldn't work out. I mean, to be honest, I didn't think it would. I don't think it will, because you look at that midfield too of Kante and Jorginho. Who does he replace in there? He doesn't. He's more of a traditional 8. He'd have to go into that front 3. And I'm not sure if he has that opportunity to go in the front 3. I'd love to see him go in the front 3, but I don't know if he will. I really don't know if he will. That corner was poor from Chelsea, and Son might be able to carry the ball forward. And there is a yellow card there for Reece James, who just drags down Heung-min Son before he can move the ball forward and get them on the counter-attack. Son has his boots matching his top by the looks of things. The boots matching his top. But just to go back to Hakim Ziyech, like I say, we didn't really see the best of Hakim Ziyech in a Chelsea shirt. And I don't think we will. I don't think he's at the level that Chelsea want him to be. To go back to what I was saying, you look at those wingers that are in the league, the elite wingers. You look at Sterling, you look at Salah, Mane when he was here, Sane when he was here, Riyad Mahrez, even Jota and Luis Diaz, and unfortunately I don't think Ziyech is on that level in terms of overall play. I think he limits himself because he's one-footed. He's very one-footed. Good feet though by Kai Havertz, who's going to roll the ball down the line to Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek, can he keep the ball on? He can, just about. Rolls it back into Kante. Kante's going to try to go to the byline as well. And is that a Chelsea corner or is that a goal kick? It is a Chelsea corner. Another corner for Chelsea. Anyone much stranger things? No, I haven't. It doesn't matter if Conte manages a rival London club, because at the end of the day, Conte bleeds blue. Conte winning the Premier League with his foot, yeah. I don't know. I think Conte lost all of his reputation that he had at Chelsea by signing for Tottenham Hotspur. And to be honest, I think Mourinho did the same thing, but Mourinho's not that much forward. He's got a little bit of a soft spot in everyone's hearts, doesn't he? There's a corner whipped in by Mason Mount there, but the corner came to nothing from Chelsea. Spurs tried to clear it and try to take on the counter-attack, but they just can't get the ball down at the moment. Chelsea dictating and dominating possession at the moment. Kante does really well. Here is Mason Mount. Drops it into Kante once again. Chelsea just looks so calm and composed on the ball at the moment. They really do. We are getting spanked tomorrow. Yeah, he says Oliver. I'm assuming that's a reference to Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. Liverpool. I mean, to be fair, they didn't win on their opening day. So who knows? Maybe they're out of form. I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt it with Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. I don't think they've really ever been out of form, other than when they were about to win the league and they lost like 3 in a row because they just couldn't be bothered anymore. And here's Mason Mount into N'Golo Kante once again, rolled out wide to Reece James. Can Chelsea double their advantage before we get into half time? Here is Ruben Loftus-Cheek back into Reece James. Kante is going to go for a big switch to Marc Cucurella. Cucurella's touch is a little bit poor, plays it behind himself, but he still manages to find Kalidou Koulibaly. Sterling holds up the play, back into Marc Cucurella. Chelsea just being patient now, just trying to work a little bit of a gap. Kante, James, Havertz, Kante again. Chelsea are just being so patient. There is every Tottenham player behind the ball at the moment, trying to show how Conte likes to have his team set up. A bank of 5 and a bank of 4 with Harry Kane just sat in front of them. But Chelsea have really managed to create a little bit of space there. That was really good play from Chelsea. They just seem to turn it on at the moment. They can just create that little bit of space and then turn the ball on. But that's a great ball from Jorginho. Loftus-Cheek at the back post there. Tried to get his noggin on it, but he just couldn't quite get there. Ruben Loftus-Cheek as the ball was clipped in from Jorginho. I think he just loses track of the ball in the air there. I don't know if he just takes his eye off it just a second. It's a really delightful ball from Jorginho and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Maybe we give the defender a little bit of credit there. Maybe that's what we do, but it's really good play from Chelsea. And like I say, they can just switch it on at any moment at this current moment in time. They just seem to be able to pick the ball up the tempo, and then all of a sudden they're in behind and they've got this space and they're able to break down this this Tottenham Hotspur team nice and easily. I think the commentators just said that Chelsea look a yard sharper, and I couldn't agree more, really. I could not agree more, really. Over the course of this first half, Chelsea have been the better of the two sides, and they have looked like they're the better drilled, and they're all buying into the system. Don't get me wrong, I think Spurs, they've shown an occasional glimpse, but you need more than a glimpse at this top level. Sessegnon just gives away a foul there. Inside the Chelsea half, Loftus-Cheek is just down on the floor. Absolutely clattered through him there, Ryan Sessegnon. Takes a lot to go through Loftus-Cheek like that and leave him on the floor. It's a little bit painful. Maybe a clash of knees between the two players there, the two Englishmen. How good has Loftus-Cheek been so far, guys? Let us know your thoughts on Loftus-Cheek's performance. I think he's been fantastic so far. I really do. I think he's been really good. Some of Chelsea's passing is fantastic. It really is. Chelsea just looks so dynamic moving the ball forward. Is this the Tuchel ball we're going to be seeing this season? Because it looks so good at times. Are we starting to see what Thomas Tuchel wanted to bring to this Chelsea side with a good transfer window, or a good couple of transfer windows, and bring in the players that he wants and he desires? Thiago Silva finds Reece James, who, like I say, playing at that right centre back role so far, has done a good job himself. Koulibaly looking for a big switch there. He was looking for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It was initially won by Ben Davies, but only as far as Reece James. Dispossessed though, and here goes Heung-min Son. He's going to roll it out wide to Ryan Sessegnon, who drops it back into Højbjerg. Højbjerg tries to turn out, but Chelsea put a little bit of a press on. The press led there by Mason Mount. We've got to go all the way back. Tottenham have to Eric Dyer. Here is Christian Romero, who's got some space. He's going to roll it into the feet of Harry Kane. Can he turn and look for a pass? He does look for the pass. That's a poor bit of defending there from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Probably the first mistake he's made all game. And fortunately for him, it did not lead to anything at this current moment in time. And that is the half-time question. The main question should be, is Cucurella playing? At the moment, I don't think we can say we've really noticed him. It's not been a bad performance, but it's not been a good performance either at the moment for Marc Cucurella. Hasn't really stood out to me. Like I say, some of the players that have stood out at the moment, Kalidou Koulibaly, looks like he's really putting in a good shift. What was I going to do? I was going to pause the timer in that top corner and get ourselves all ready for the second half. Max is asking for a half-time game. It might be a little bit difficult, Max, because of... although I do have the cards over there with the quizzes, so we might be able to do that. It might be a little bit difficult because I have to go off the screen to... oh, I didn't quite do that right. Right. Resume, pause. Right, resume, stop, pause. There we are. Sorted. Yeah, we might be able to do a half-time game, do a little bit of a quiz if that would so suit you. I'm just updating the graphics for us, hence why you can see me in the mirror, but you can't see me actually on the screen at the moment, because I need to find a way so that I can access both at the same time. Hark? No, wrong letter again. There we are, second half, get ourselves underway. And let us know your thoughts so far on this game. I think it's been... Chelsea will be very pleased with that first half. Spurs haven't really had too many answers for the Chelsea boys at the moment. Spurs haven't really had too many answers. Just going to open the window as well because it is absolutely swelteringly hot here in Lincolnshire. But, like I say, it's been a very good performance. I think Chelsea will be very pleased with the way that they've started, and I've been pleased as a Chelsea fan. Oh my God, that is so much cooler. Oh God, I've been sweating for no reason whatsoever. I didn't realise that window was going to open for me. Well, there we are. Second half, yes, exactly. I'm the worst speller in the world, Max. I'm the worst speller in the world. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look as Thiago Silva looks at me through these cards. Let's find a Chelsea or Tottenham related player and open ourselves up. And that's Super Frankie Lampard, so we'll do one of them. And I'm not going to go anywhere near Romelu Lukaku. Gary Lineker? Wow. To be fair, a Gary Lineker one might be fun to do. Next time we have a Leicester game or something like that. That might be quite fun to do. And of course, Steve Gerrard. Oh, there's Lucy Bronze in here, there's Steph Houghton in here, there's Marta in here, Carly Lloyd, Jules Scott. Oh, I didn't realise there was female footballers in here as well. That's pretty sick. That was pretty sick. Right, we'll start ourselves off with, have we done these questions before? I don't think we did. Right. Good to be back again this season, Sam. Most certainly is. A good start as well, Tom. A really good start so far, mate. And great to have you in the stream. Yeah, of course. He's also in this pack. And so is Morata. Morata's been linked with Manchester United at the moment as well, which is pretty mental. Right, we'll do Frank Lampard. I don't know if we've done this one before. Either way, you might still not remember the answers. But we'll kick ourselves off with which club did Lampard begin his playing career? Which club did Frank Lampard begin his playing career? Whilst you guys think, I will find a Tottenham-based player or a Tottenham-linked player for us to do with the half-time game as well. I've just realised we've still got a background noise on, which we don't need because the mighty Morata, most certainly the mighty Morata. Yeah, we don't need the background noise at the moment. Thank you, Mr. Background Noise. But which side did Frank Lampard start his professional career at? Which side did he start his professional career at? That'll be interesting. Still don't know how Aaron Moy managed to swindle his way into this pack of cards. But somehow he did. And I don't know why. Michael Owen, Alan Shearer. I've got a lot more legends in these packs than I realised. Kyle Walker, there we are. He's linked to Tottenham. He used to play for Tottenham. Let's have a look. Max has gone with West Ham. You are absolutely correct, Max Gamer, or should I call you George? Yeah, you're absolutely correct, mate. It is West Ham. He started at West Ham under Harry Redknapp when he was 17, and then he got his big money move to Chelsea a couple of seasons later. I say big money move. It was a relatively big money move at the time, and of course, bit of a gamble as well when someone is that young. Next up on this Frank Lampard quiz is what's the title of Frank Lampard's autobiography? Now this will be a hard one. I'd be surprised if any of you guys know this one, but here are the three options. You've got three options. Don't worry, you don't have to make one up. We've got Frankly My Dear, Totally Frank, or Frank's a Lot. I genuinely don't know the answer to that one. I do not know the answer, I must say. So maybe you guys will. But yes, so the second question, what is the title of Frank Lampard's autobiography? Frankly My Dear, Totally Frank, or Frank's a Lot? I love them. I love the fact that there is someone who has sat there making these cards and has had to come up with puns on Frank Lampard's name to do two of them. Totally Frank, I'm guessing. That's what you've gone with. To be totally frank, I don't know, is the answer for me. I don't know what Frank Lampard's autobiography is called. In case if anyone is wondering, and you've just joined us, we are just at half-time at the moment, so we're doing a little bit of a half-time game, so do be sure to get involved. And we're just doing a bit of a Frank Lampard quiz, as Chelsea are winning, and then we might move on to Mr. Kyle Walker once we've gone through these cards. But Max has gone with Totally Frank, and you are absolutely totally right. Max, you are totally right. Next up is what relation to Frank Lampard is his former manager, Harry Redknapp? What relation? And of course, subsequently as well, what relation is Jamie Redknapp to him as well? After that heated discussion between Jamie Redknapp and Gary Neville, seems to be the talk of the town. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Yeah, that's what I thought. I can't believe he said that. You can tell he's a dad. That's such a dad thing to say. Look at me when you're talking to you. Yeah, all right. Well, let's have a look then. So what relation to Frank Lampard is his former manager at West Ham United, like I said, Harry Redknapp? What relation? Max is unsure at the moment. I will give you a clue. It is either cousin, uncle, grandfather, dad, brother, son. Max has gone with cousin. So, Max, I'm going to give you it because I did say Jamie Redknapp as well. Jamie Redknapp is his cousin. Harry Redknapp is Frank Lampard's uncle. So there you are, the more you know. Who did Chelsea defeat when Lampard won his only Champions League title? And Chelsea's first, of course. Got my beautiful photo from when we beat Manchester City. Still feels very, very sweet. Still feels very, very sweet, that does. But who did Chelsea defeat when we first won our Champions League final? To be fair, I actually also have a Champions League photo from that one as well. We're just looking at the halftime analysis here, and it's a really interesting point they've actually picked up on Reece James's role so far. And it looks like Reece James's role is to try and eliminate the danger of Heung-min Son. You can see him in these highlights that how close Reece James is to Heung-min Son at every single moment. And I think someone said it earlier. It doesn't look like Son is in this game, and maybe this is why, because Reece James is having more of a free ability to just follow him, leaving a lack of space really for Heung-min Son, and I think that's a fantastic observation to have noticed. And to be honest, Reece James is just sort of following Heung-min Son around no matter where he goes, and of course, he got his yellow card. We just dragged him back, and he knew what he was doing. But Max says Bayern Munich. You are absolutely correct, Max. That is absolutely correct. And then, what feat did Lampard achieve for Chelsea in 2013, passing Bobby Tamley in the club's all-time ranks? That is the final question for us. That is the final question on Frank Lampard. We'll be back underway soon. What did he do? What did he do, Max? I don't know if anyone's still in here, as we've just dropped to one person, or whether that one person is just my other phone. But there we are. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. We're also one like away, guys. So if you are a person who is sat there and that like button hasn't been smashed, I don't know what you're playing at, but get that like button smashed. Get us to 15. That'd be absolutely fantastic for us, boys. But I'm assuming Max missed the question, and the question was, what feat did Lampard achieve for Chelsea in 2013, passing Bobby Tamley in the club's all-time ranks? In the club's all-time ranks. So pretty much, what did he, what is he the all-time great of in terms of Chelsea Football Club is pretty much the question. Although I worded that in the most clunky way possible, that is pretty much the question. What's a feat? Like a record, yes. Oh my god, I need to stretch my back. It is like a record. Oh, there we are. That's better. Oh, God. Goal scorer. Absolutely correct, Max. Absolutely correct. He became Chelsea's all-time top goal scorer. I think he scored 211, 212 maybe. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's how many he scored. But that was the thing that he is known for now, isn't he, Mr. Frank Lampard, the all-time top goal scoring central midfielder. And I believe as well, this is just a random fact as I drop my phone on the floor. I believe as well that Frank Lampard he has scored double figures in the most seasons for any midfielder. If you look at it, it was like 10 seasons in a row, 8 seasons in a row. Let me just check it. So, when he was at Chelsea, from 03-04 all the way to 2012-2013, Frank Lampard scored a minimum of 10 goals every season in the Premier League, which is mental. No wonder he managed to get himself up to so many goals for Chelsea. 211 goals, that's how many it was for Chelsea. And of course, he's our Premier League all-time top goal scorer as well with 147, I do believe. That is correct as well. But unbelievable, really. Unbelievable. What a player Frank Lampard was. And I'm not sure he'd fit into this side, but I'd still love to have him back. Everyone right, but got lucky with Redknapp. Yeah, precisely. I helped you out. I gifted you that one. I did gift you that one. I gave you a little bit of a bonus there, Max. But we are a couple of moments away from getting ourselves back underway. We're still in an ad break at the moment, but we will be underway shortly for the second half. So let us know your score predictions for the second half. Are Spurs going to be able to revitalise themselves and get themselves back into this game? I'm just trying to get my stream back up so I can make sure everything's running properly. Or are Chelsea going to dominate and take themselves through into a commanding position? Sam felt bad that I support Spurs. I always feel bad that you support Spurs, Matt. I always feel bad. I feel bad for anyone that's put up with Spurs, to be honest with you. It just doesn't sound very fun. Jokes aside, though, Spurs will have to definitely up it in this second half because, oh my God, what a voice crack. Second half. Because they've just not been good enough. It's simple as that. It is simple as that. They've just not been good enough, Spurs. And it's blunt, it's on the head, it's on the nose, whatever you want to say, but they've not been good enough. Chelsea have had the rub of the green. They really have had the rub of the green. At the moment, I've just seen that Active Aaron has popped up into the chat, so let's have a look at Active Aaron, what's he got to say? What's active Aaron got to say? Koulibaly smashing it like prime Harry Maguire. Absolutely. What a finish that was. What a finish. He looks like an excellent signing so far, Koulibaly. Definitely bringing a load of class. And, there's always question marks when you bring someone in who's the other side of, who's the other side of 30, the wrong side of 30 if you're a footballer. No offence, Aaron. But, there's always question marks when you bring in a player at his age, his calibre, playing at centre-half. But at the moment, seems to be answering a few questions and doesn't look out of place as well. Looks quick, looks strong, and looks sharp. But we're going to be getting ourselves underway in this second half then. Let's turn the background noise back on and let's get the timer ready for this second half. And there we are. We are underway for the second half. And like I say, Spurs will be wanting to put in a better performance in this second half because that wasn't the greatest of first halves, and it's not something that they're going to be writing a DVD documentary about anytime soon. The commentators have just said it needs to be a significant improvement. And that'll tell you all you need to know, because it has not been a good first half for Spurs. But Chelsea have been fantastic. Here goes Ruben Loftus-Cheek into Kai Havertz. Great feet from Loftus-Cheek to find Havertz. Havertz across the box. Sterling arriving at the back post, but the cross didn't quite have enough legs. Here's Loftus-Cheek again. The ball has come out to him. Into Havertz, who goes down the line. He's going to try pull it back to the edge of the box. And it's just all white bodies and white shirts in that box there for Tottenham Hotspur. Reece James into Marc Cucurella, drops it into Mason Mount. Here's Raheem Sterling at the edge of the box. Is he going to be able to find a little bit of space? Probably the wrong decision there from Raheem Sterling, who looked to try and go down to the byline. But there wasn't really the space all the time for Raheem Sterling to do that. The Spurs already got players warming up. They've got Davinson Sanchez, I think that's Ivan Perisic, and of course Richarlison lining up, warming up for them, ready for this second half to get themselves involved, because they do need to change something. I don't know what they can change, because on paper this is a very strong Spurs lineup, but I don't know what they can change. Maybe the experience of Ivan Perisic might be able to help them. But here goes the ginger from Sweden, Kulusevski, who tries to get past Thiago Silva, but you've got to do a bit more to get past the Brazilian. That being said, Koulibaly nearly gives it back to them. Marc Cucurella, though, does give it back to them as Emerson is being hassled by Mason Mount, and the tag team there of Mason Mount and Marc Cucurella eventually does enough to get the ball up the field for Chelsea, and back to Hugo Lloris. Aaron says Sterling running into a pack of defenders. What a shot, Claw. That was honestly vintage Sterling for England. That's a great ball over the top though by Harry Kane, and Son. Oh my gosh, Edouard Mendy came out and he committed to the floor. But I tell you what, if Son had reacted just slightly quicker there, I think Chelsea would have been in trouble. I don't think the way I said that was quite as dramatic as it should have been, because had he hit it before that bounce, I think Edouard Mendy's going to be in trouble. I think Mendy really would have been in trouble. Kante picks up the ball. Oh, that was nearly the perfect ball, but it was intercepted before it could even get anywhere. That sounded like the most stupid thing in the world there. Reece James wins it back though, and he's not giving Heung-min Son the light of day. He's not giving them any opportunities to do anything, to be honest with you. Heung-min Son is having a mare at the moment. He can't get away from Reece James, who just seems to be on his toes all the time. Sterling into Cucurella, just took his eye off it for a second there, Cucurella, and ended up playing the ball short to Mason Mount. I'd love to see a Chelsea attacker get himself on the score sheet. That would be very, very useful. Someone needs to open their account nicely. That's a good ball in from Mason Mount in towards Kai Havertz. Good turn from Havertz, good bit of strength, uses his body well. It falls to Kante. Kante towards Jorginho. Jorginho to Reece James, blocked at the edge of the box there. He was right up with Heung-min Son there. Heung-min Son almost looks like he's having to track Reece James as well when Reece James goes forward, because of how closely that he's being marked when, you know, how closely Son's being marked when he goes forwards. He's almost having to do the reverse role of it to try and stop it, but it's not where you want. It's not where you want Heung-min Son. You don't want him at the edge of the box. On that occasion, it has worked out for him as Emerson Royale tries to squeeze his way past Cucurella, who was having none of it. He was having absolutely none of it there, Cucurella. He covered that. I tell you what, that was a good foot race, but Emerson Royale there, I think, and this is going to sound a bit mean, but I think he should have just stood up rather than flopping on the floor like a fish, because he just made himself look a little bit daft, if I'm honest with you. Reece James clips the ball down the line towards Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and that must surely be a foul from Ben Davies. Straight through the back of Ruben Loftus-Cheek there, and Loftus-Cheek did not look impressed by that tackle whatsoever from Ben Davies. It's very clumsy. He just sort of barges into the back of Ruben Loftus-Cheek just as he's about to get the ball down, and yeah, like I say, a bit of a weird one, really. Bit of a weird one. I don't quite know why Ben Davies felt the need to commit there. He could have stood him up, held him in that corner, and he would have been all right, but for some reason decided to make the wrong decision there, Ben Davies. But the free kick will be Chelsea's, and it's going to be out from this right hand side. Will it be the in-swinger of Marc Cucurella? It won't. It will be Reece James, but that is a poor cross, and it hasn't beaten the first man, and it will come out all the way to N'Golo Kante at the halfway line, who's going to have to find Edouard Mendy. If you are still there, guys, and you are still listening along at home, do let us know your score predictions for this second half. And of course, as always, if you are new, be sure to smash that like button. If you're enjoying, do hit subscribe as well. But back to the action as Havertz manages to press Spurs for a throw-in deep inside the Spurs half. Spurs haven't really made the reaction that I anticipated Spurs would make so far. I haven't really had that spark that you would expect, considering, you know, they're 1-0 down against one of their rivals, one of the teams that they view as their closest rivals. They just haven't really improved it. Just haven't really improved themselves. There was a lot of optimism as well going into this Spurs game, and in that first half I struggled to see why there was the optimism. They've got to up it if they really want to show their best side, as Reece James drops it into Mason Mount, who's coming deep here to pick up the ball. Who's Cucurella? Here's Cucurella. I know who he is, I don't know where he is. Aaron says Chelsea's defence looks well solid. I think 2-0. I hope so. I could do with the Reece James FPL points, I must say. Koulibaly and Thiago Silva looks like a dream duo at centre half. I tell you what, the experience of the two of them. I always used to worry that Liverpool would buy Koulibaly and then their defensive two. Oh, excuse me, I'm tired. Their defensive two would then be Koulibaly and Van Dijk, and I just thought that would just be so illegal. Because of how tall and strong and fast they both are, it would have been like, oh my god, it would have been a complete brick wall. Even more so than Joel Matip can be sometimes alongside Virgil van Dijk. But Chelsea do have themselves a corner, won by Marc Cucurella. 53 minutes on the clock. Is this an opportunity for Chelsea to double their lead? Here's Raheem Sterling, who's taken it short, and it's been headed clear only as far as Heung-min Son. Sterling tries to win the ball back though. It's fallen to Mason Mount, who's going to stand one up in towards that box again, and oh my gosh, Hugo Lloris wasn't quite sure where that one was going. The cross looked like it was a cross-come shot there, and he is a little bit worried. And he didn't quite know what to do, and instead, because he didn't know if it was off in, he didn't want to take the risk. And Chelsea, have they got themselves a corner here? I believe they have. Hugo Lloris. Wasn't sure. It was probably the right thing to do, but it really did catch him off guard. Mark Cucurella whips in the ball. It's going to go to the back post again. Koulibaly completely unmarked. It was Christian Romero Heung-min Son that time, who they've got the same boots on. I couldn't really tell, but they just keep leaving them at the back post. I don't quite know what their intention is there. Cucurella is a sideshow Bob, if you're wondering. He most certainly is. I had a fantasy football Bruce moment. Took Jesus out. Always put faith in Jesus. Always put faith in Jesus. That is my religious speech. Yeah, one of my mates triple captained Jesus last weekend, not this weekend. Triple captain him in this weekend would have been too bad. Mount whips it in towards that back post. It's going to fall to Cucurella at the edge of the box. It's a good block initially by Bentancur. It's come all the way back to the halfway line though to Reece James. It's actually a lot better block than I first anticipated it was. I don't know how to react, lol. Sterling. He just doesn't. I'm not filled with confidence from Raheem Sterling at the moment. I know there's a player in there who doesn't fill me with confidence. Richarlison looks like he's coming on. Clement Longley is just sat in his football shirt, so I don't know. I don't know if he's coming on or if it's just too hot for him to be sat in anything else, so he's just sat in his football shirt. But there you are. Richarlison is coming on, and I wonder who this will be for. Will we Will we see a change in formation for Tottenham Hotspur here? Chelsea, though, have won themselves another corner. 55 minutes on the clock. Here's Kante. Oh my god, my voice just cracked really badly there. Jesus. Here's Kante. That corner from Chelsea was really poor again. The one corner that they've scored from was an excellent corner, and the rest just haven't been overly good from Chelsea. Not been the greatest contribution to the Chelsea attacking lineup, some of these corners. And it's going to be the number 19 for Tottenham Hotspur, who is making his way for the number 9 of Tottenham Hotspur. And it's going to be Ryan Sessegnon, who is the number 19. And of course, Richarlison is their new number 9. So maybe we're going to see a little bit of a change in this formation. Is Ben Davies going to go out to left back, be a more traditional left back, and are we going to see two up front from Tottenham Hotspur, or will Heung-min Son have to go out onto that left hand side? It does look like Richarlison's gone straight up to join Harry Kane up front. Kane takes a throw in quickly, and Reece James has done really, really well there, and so has Thiago Silva. Great play by Chelsea. They just look so unfazed, and at the moment they look quite press-proof as well. That being said, Højbjerg does give the ball away and nicks the ball back. Here is Eric Dyer, who's going to roll it out wide towards Emerson. Emerson Royal driving into more space. Decent feet there from Kulusevski into Richarlison, who goes down like a sack of potatoes from a tackle. Here's Jorginho trying to, again, wriggle a little bit of space. Chelsea so calm when they're on the ball. Mason Mount trying to have to battle here, and the referee just was trying to decide whether he was going to give a foul there on Mason Mount, but he deemed it not to have been. Here is Emerson Royal once again, who's going to whip in the ball there, looking for Harry Kane, who was being man-marked by Reece James. Reece James, of course, has just dropped off of Heung-min Son at the moment, of course, as I mentioned at half-time, following him very, very closely. (4-3-3) Kulusevski Cam. I don't think it will be. I think it's more like a 4-2-2. With Kulusevski and Son playing more as like narrow wingers, if you will. Or wide number 10s, I guess, is the alternative of that. But yeah, it doesn't look like that at the moment, Max. 4-3-3 with Kulusevski at Cam is the most FIFA formation you could have picked there, Max. I am quite surprised like they signed Richarlison, because when you think about that forward line, and they already had, bear in mind as well, they already had Bergwijn, who's now gone to Ajax, I believe. Like, it seems like such a mental signing to get Richarlison, and they've still got Lucas Moura on their books as well. And so when they're all back and they're all fit, Antonio Conte is going to have a happy problem there, I will say, to try and fit everyone in. Of course, you know that Kane and Son will most likely start, but to try and squeeze yourself 3 other players into one position, you can do the maths, it doesn't quite fit. It's not quite fit at the moment. Raheem Sterling, a bit quiet so far in this game, was expecting better from the England international. Davis thumps the ball forward. Good head by Harry Kane, who tries to flick it onto Richarlison. Chelsea win it back though. Here is Kai Havertz, who I keep thinking is Mason Mount because they've got the same haircut now. Good touch by Jorginho. Lovely play by Chelsea. They've split them really quickly here. Here is Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who tries to cut in on his left. Good feet again, Loftus-Cheek. Is that going to fall for Sterling? Sterling! Oh, he puts it over. It's really good football from Chelsea, but that finish from Sterling was not very good. But Ruben Loftus-Cheek, his feet are so fast. For a big guy, he's got fantastic feet in that box there. Did so well. Reminded me, I think he got a goal against Juventus doing a very similar thing. But here go Tottenham! Oh my gosh! What on earth is going on here? Tottenham Hotspur, all of a sudden, we just pan the camera. Harry Kane's bearing 1-on-1 down on Edouard Mendy. And Harry Kane's pulled it wide. Where did that come from? Son was offside. Harry Kane wasn't. Chelsea caught napping. Good ball through the middle, I think by Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. And Harry Kane should do better. He should definitely do better. 100% should do better there. My brother said that. And Fraser is back as well. Good stuff, Fraser. Good stuff to have you back in. Oh my gosh, Chelsea, that was a massive let-off. There's not many times Harry Kane will let you off like that. Not too many times Harry Kane will let you off like that. But that was a poor finish from the England captain. Mendy's just been given a yellow card for time wasted. Brilliant. I'm sure he was just letting Chelsea regroup there, because it just all happened within a flash. Like I say, we were happily watching the repeat of Raheem Sterling's miss, and all of a sudden Tottenham Hotspur dashing their way through. We weren't maybe happy watching it. I'm sure Max was happy watching the repeat of it. But really good opportunity for Tottenham. That's well won back by Jorginho as well, high up the field. Is he going to have a bit of room here? He finds Reece James. Reece James has support from Loftus-Cheek, who's going to pull it back. Oh, we just don't have that attacking head there, and Jorginho is going to strike one from the edge of the box and be blocked by Bentancur. The problem I'm finding with this Chelsea team is we're working so effortlessly down the wings. Like Cucurella is working well. The movement of Havertz and Loftus-Cheek and Mason Mount is going so well. But it's just not quite got that spearhead of the attack. And of course, you know, that comes with the territory of Havertz, Sterling and Mount moving around. But we just don't have someone who's just going to stand there. And when that ball is pulled back from Ruben Loftus-Cheek at the moment, there's no one there to attack it. It has to be one of the late arriving midfielders. And of course, that isn't something that we see Jorginho do too often. Mason Mount would be that kind of player. You know, he's learned it from Frank Lampard. He's learned it quite a lot, and he's quite good at it when he gets in that position. But in this formation, he doesn't get in that position very often. And that's where Chelsea are really sort of stumbling at the moment and not being able to extend their advantage, as Son has to come in deep there to pick up the ball and roll it to Kulusevski. Kulusevski goes out wide to Emerson. Emerson's block is crossed. No, his cross is blocked by Marc Cucurella. Here is Højbjerg, who looks to find Richarlison, and that's some excellent defending there from Marc Cucurella, and it goes out for a Tottenham corner. A few words exchanged as well between Cucurella and Richarlison, both new signings for their new team. 19 likes. Thank you to those who have liked. That's absolutely fantastic. I really do appreciate it. I need Reece James' assist. Nice. So do I, to be fair. I don't know who else I've got to play with FPL. I think I've got Mendy and I've got Reece James in this, so hopefully Chelsea don't concede, otherwise I will lose quite a few points from a clean sheet bonus. But Reece James so far has been excellent in that right centre-half role. I'm really impressed with him. The man marking of Heung-min Son really kept him out of the game. Son with an opportunity though to make an impact here from the corner. Although he's just kind of blended in with all of the fans there. I completely lost him in the fans. It's going to be whipped in. Oh, and it goes straight over the top. Richarlison just not able to get on it. Sterling looks to hit on the counter-attack. Here's N'Golo Kante. Kante back into Sterling. This is a great opportunity, but what a tackle that is from Emerson. Emerson has done so well there. Emerson Royale, not to be confused with Chelsea's Emerson Palmieri. That was a great piece of defensive play, and he needed to make that tackle there, because you can't let Raheem Sterling, with the speed of him and N'Golo Kante, and I believe Mason Mount was potentially joining him. The pass from Kante was a little bit poor, but really good piece of defending. Really good piece of defending. Max has got Koulibaly, which is the only positive. That is very true. I hate it when that happens, but you're also like, well, if one person has to score, I guess it would have to be the person who's in my FPL team. No point in having Harry Kane at the moment, because the tradition has been for Harry Kane to not score in August. I'm sure he'll go and bite me on the backside and go and score in about 2 minutes' time now. But Harry Kane doesn't tend to score in August as much as he scores every other time. I always wonder why that is, whether he's just a sort of slow settler into the new season, whatever it will be. But it is a very strange trend that Harry Kane seems to be on at the moment. Sterling round the corner to Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek in towards Havertz. Havertz looked like he might have gone down there, but he didn't. Drops it back instead to Raheem Sterling. Sterling fakes the cross. Is he going to try to go to the byline? Of course he is. It's Raheem Sterling. And again, there's no one in that box there at the back post arriving in order to make a tackle. And like I said earlier, that is what has been the bane of Chelsea's game so far, is that there is no one in that middle to attack the ball and really go for it when the ball is crossed in from either the right or the left hand side, because that seems to be where we're lacking and where we're slacking at the moment. But maybe that will come with, with time with Kai Havertz. Maybe it'll mean that we need a new striker. Maybe if Armando Broja comes on, maybe we'll see that a little bit more, that movement inside of the box to find the space, because Harry Kane often appears in those positions. Havertz has done really well there, but Rodrigo Bentancur has made up for his mistake with an excellent tackle. Havertz wasn't very pleased with that tackle there, but the referee saw nothing wrong with it. And to be honest with you, I thought it was a decent tackle from up here. I'm sure Havertz has other reasons, though, to believe it was. Harry Kane hates August. He most certainly seems to. You've got 72 points. I don't know how many I've got at the moment, I must say. I know I've still got Mo Salah still to play. Here's Kulusevski trying to dance into the box. Cucurella gives the ball to Jorginho. Oh my God, just get it out. What are you doing? Son nicks it back at the edge of the box, and it's going to be driven through the... Oh my... Why didn't we clear that? Why didn't we clear that? There is a really heated reaction. It is 1-1, in case if you're wondering, but there's a really heated reaction. This has all come from when Havertz thought he was fouled by Bentancur. It is 1-1, and it's a good finish from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I'm sure VAR will check it to make sure that he actually did win the ball. I think it's a fine tackle. And I'm not going to lie, if that is the reason that this Chelsea reaction has gone that way, there is so many reasons and so many opportunities that Chelsea could have cleared the ball. And it's all kicking off now. You've got people gobbing off at each other. Tuchel and Conte were facing off with each other. But there's so many opportunities from that to make a change, to make a decision, to clear the ball out. Jorginho had the ball at the edge of the box with an opportunity to clear it, but he hasn't cleared it. You can go back to this Havertz moment and say, okay, maybe he didn't win the ball much. But at the end of the day, you've had however many passages of play to clear the ball. That is not the fault of the referee, and that is not the fault of VAR. That free kick we've seen given either way, okay? But what is a problem of Chelsea Football Club then is that reaction. Havertz, too distracted by the decisions of the referee. Thomas Tuchel, clearly too distracted. And Jorginho, not just blooming hoofing the ball up the field at that exact moment. And as a result, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, don't get me wrong, is a fantastic strike from him. Don't take away from the goal. I'm annoyed at the reaction of Chelsea and how this has come about. It's a good goal. If Højbjerg scores that goal at any other point during this game, say if he picks up the ball, wanders into a little bit of space, shoots and it goes in the bottom corner, you're like, yeah, sweet, that's a sick goal. You know, there's not really too much you can do. Maybe a question mark around the goalkeeping. But it has been an awful sort of passage of play. And I'm not sure if they're now going to check it and make sure that there's not a handball in there, or if there's an offside from Richarlison. But to me, I don't understand. I don't understand why Chelsea reacted that way and why Jorginho just didn't kick it. That's all he had to do was just shoot. Oh, Richarlison might be offside there. Richarlison might be offside there. I don't think they're going to change it. And I also, as we keep watching this replay of this tackle from Bentancur, it's a good tackle. I don't know what Chelsea are complaining about. The ball goes a different direction. I can see that. You can see that. Everyone can see that. But the reaction from Chelsea, I can't even see my screen to find my scroller to, there it is. To change the score at the bottom. But that reaction from Chelsea is absolutely shambolic, and especially from Thomas Tuchel. You know, Chelsea have lost their heads there. It is absolutely shambolic. And like I will mention, Thomas Tuchel will blame the referee. Whoever else will blame the referee. But when in reality, there were so many opportunities for that ball to have been cleared before it fell to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and that is the root of the worries and the problems for Chelsea Football Club, and that is where the problems will arise, because they are the ones who have just, you know, they've just completely, how do you spell Højbjerg? Is it that? Is that right? Højbjerg. I don't think there's two J's, is there? Jorginho is coming off, and to be honest with you, with that decision and that poor piece of defensive play from Jorginho, I'm not surprised. I'd take him off for that as well. That was awful. Is that how you spell Højbjerg? Oh, it is. It is. I got it right for once. But like I say, I don't think at all. I'm going to have to look at me in the sunshine. The sunshine. Have to do that the whole time. But like I say, the problem for me there isn't with the refereeing decision. The problem for me there is with Chelsea's reaction to that, and you know, making sure that actually Chelsea clear the ball, even if the most basic, the literal most basic rule that anyone ever gets told as a kid is play to the whistle. That is what you get caught. That's what you get told all the time. Play to the whistle. Play to the whistle. Play to the whistle. What did Chelsea not do? Play to the whistle. And that is what has cost them in this game. That is what has cost them. Chelsea were cruising. Like, that shot shouldn't go in. Okay, you can maybe question Richarlison. Did he play a role in that? Aspilicueta, by the way, did come on for Jorginho. So I don't know if that's a shift with formation and Loftus-Cheek going into central midfield. I don't know, but That is really, really poor from Chelsea. And like I say, I don't like that attitude. I don't like that attitude of, oh yeah, blame the referee, even though we've made so many poor decisions for the ball to get there. Really, really poor decisions. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised now if Spurs win it. I would not be surprised if Spurs win it. I do apologise for the sun, by the way, casting this light over here. But there's not really much I can do at the moment because I don't want to close the blind because it's absolutely boiling. Absolutely boiling. Havertz, instead of playing, he went to complain. Exactly, Max. Exactly. And that is the root of the, that is one of the problems. That, therefore, Havertz didn't put in a shift to try win the ball back again from Rodrigo Bentancur. And as a result, Bentancur able to distribute. Oh my God, who was that? Mason Mount should have made that 2-1. That was an exquisite ball. That was an exquisite ball from Reece James. I don't know if it was Mason Mount or if it was Kai Havertz, but whoever it was, they should have scored. That was an excellent ball from Reece James. Down on this right-hand side, good little bit of feet. I think it was Reece James, it was. And, oh my gosh, Kai Havertz. Just do anything other than that, I beg of you. I don't know how you've put that so far wide. I really don't. Oh my gosh, Kai Havertz, what a poor finish that is. And Chelsea, there's your big opportunity. That is your opportunity. That is where you need your big strikers to score. And unfortunately for Chelsea, we don't seem to have one. Here's Cucurella. For a second then, Cucurella, seeing all that hair flying around in the air, was giving me flashbacks to Willian. And I hated Willian as a Chelsea footballer. I did not rate him. But it just gave me like a flashback, which I didn't want, or didn't think I ever was going to think about again. Willian in a Chelsea shirt. Most overrated Chelsea player of the last few years. 100% Willian. 100%. He was absolutely shambolic. We need Timo Werner for this game. Can't believe he scored when he went back. So did Romelu Lukaku. Lukaku scored in the first game of the season as well. So more than our strikers have scored. Here's Cucurella trying to put in a ball across the box again, but there's no one there. Havertz has come out. The one time we get him in the box, he didn't blooming score it anyway, so it didn't really make a difference. I thought Chelsea sold Werner. We did. That's what I mean. We need him. I don't know why we sold him. I wouldn't want to sell him. He's a workhorse, and that's, you can say all you want about him. At least he didn't frustrate people like, Romelu Lukaku. At least he put in the effort, put in the time to actually try and play. And yes, it was hard for him, but... Oh, Sterling, please, look up! Reece James, surely! Yes! Oh my gosh! Is Reece James offside? I'm so baffled as to what that reaction was. But come on, Chelsea! I'm so baffled. Everyone just seemed to stop, and I was like, what is going on? But Reece James gets us 2-1 up. And Sterling, I tell you what, I criticise him, but thank God he passed it this time. Thank God he passed it this time. He learned from Harry Kane when we were in the World Cup, and he didn't pass it to him. Oh my gosh, Reece James gets himself on the score sheet. I just need to see and make sure that it's 100% a goal before I go absolutely ballistic. But Reece James, I don't know what the goalkeeping is from Hugo Lloris. It made Reece James' strike look absolutely fantastic, and Tuchel absolutely explodes with emotion. Absolutely explodes with emotion. And Chelsea find themselves 2-1 up. It all just kind of came from Tottenham, again, like last season, being their own undoing. Couldn't get the ball out. Kante finds Sterling in acres of space. A good call from Reece James. He's onside. And I just don't know what Hugo Lloris is doing. I don't know what Hugo Lloris is doing. I don't know how he's not saved that. That is one of the easiest saves he could have made in his career. That is straight at him. Not quite a David De Gea level mistake. Well, he just dives the wrong way. Maybe he does him with the eyes. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe Reece James does him with the eyes and I'm being a bit too harsh on the French goalkeeper. But Chelsea, again, reliant on defenders to score goals today. Koulibaly scores a worldie. And Reece James has now made it Chelsea 2. Manchester City, Tottenham Hotspur 1. If it was that would be very, very nice. What minute are we in? 77. Now, hopefully, Chelsea actually kick on. That would be nice. Reece James' shot was so bad it was good. Exactly. I think he inadvertently did him with the eyes, if you will. I think that is what has sent Hugo Lloris there, because that was... I don't know where Lloris is diving. He must have done something. He must have opened his foot up or something. But Heung-min Son and Bentancur have come off, and Perisic and Yves Bissouma have come on. So considering they need a goal, they have just changed one of their best players for a wing-back. Not sure that would be the decision that I would be making, but maybe they've not got any more dice to roll other than that one. Oh, thank God. I was more worried about my FPL points. At least I've got some now. 10 minutes left on the clock then. Oh, what a dramatic few minutes that was. What a dramatic few minutes that was. There will be plenty of extra time, or added time at the end of the game, when this one is done, because of that whole kerfuffle following the... Kerfuffle is probably the right word. Following the Højbjerg goal. Emerson goes down the line to Kulusevski. I'm quite surprised actually they took off Heung-min Son. But that being said, Reece James has had him in his back pocket all game. And again, I don't mean that disrespectfully to Heung-min Son. I mean that respectfully towards Reece James, who's had a cracking game at right back, and now he's at right wing back, who Ivan Perisic though just wins a corner ball from Reece James. Let's see who's going to take this then. I think Ivan Perisic is going out to take this corner, as Heung-min Son is off the pitch, so the duties need to fall to someone else. Ivan Perisic, of course, we will remember he did feature in that Croatia side that ended up beating us in the semi-finals of the World Cup. I do believe he might have scored as well. I've got that correct. I know Mandzukic definitely scored. But let's have a look then. He's going to whip in this ball. It's going to be an in-swinger using his right foot. Didn't realise he was right-footed, Ivan Perisic, which is quite surprising considering he's a left wing-back. That being said, so is João Cancelo. And here we go. Here's a more aggressive, more forward-thinking substitution, as Emerson Royal is going to come off, and Lucas Moura, the man who of course scored that immense hat-trick a few seasons ago in the Champions League to send them through to the Champions League final, will be coming on. The man was never quite really reached the peak and the potential that people expected, and that did not look good from one of the Chelsea players. I think that was N'Golo Kante, who's just gone down there in a little bit of pain, and that might be an overstretched muscle for N'Golo Kante. That did not look good whatsoever. That looked like that could be a serious injury in terms of a muscular injury there. He just that's gone. It's either cramp or he's just pulled his muscle, but he looks too relaxed for that to be cramp. If it was cramp, he'd still be in pain on the floor, whereas as soon as you lay down, it's still going to hurt when you pull the muscle. But yeah, definite substitution, and the Kante's going to have to come off here. And I don't know who Chelsea even have on. I don't know who we have who could be an option here. Christian Pulisic is the man who has been given the call, so I assume that would mean maybe Mason Mount drops in that centre midfield. But I don't know who we've got on the bench who would be a viable option. Maybe Reece James could go into central midfield to offer maybe a more defensive role and move Ruben Loftus-Cheek back out wide. But as he goes down, we're looking at this great work actually from N'Golo Kante, which saw Sterling play the ball into Reece James for that goal. And look at the emotion there from Thomas Tuchel. That's the passion, that's the emotion, and that is the celebration he wanted in front of Antonio Conte. Very Jurgen Klopp-esque with the way that he celebrated that goal there, Thomas Tuchel. But I love to see the passion in the right areas and at the right times, and earlier on was not the right time nor the right area for Thomas Tuchel to express his dismay at the Chelsea decisions. But N'Golo Kante is coming off. Christian Pulisic and Conor Gallagher are both coming on. So just like Batman wanted earlier, we have got a few minutes for Conor Gallagher, and Raheem Sterling, the man who got the assist for Chelsea, is also going to be coming off as well. So they are the two players, Kante and Sterling, coming off, and Conor Gallagher and Christian Pulisic, with what looks like a really shoddy haircut, has come on. I'm not sure if he's attempting a mullet there. I'm not sure if he is. Let's have a look. You still win. Goal, false hope for Spurs, says Max. Conor Gallagher might have just got himself an assist there. No, it was just pulled wide from Mason Mount, who's all smiles. But can we actually put this game to bed? It would have been better if you'd have put it back to Conor Gallagher, if I'm honest with you. Oh, he's both-footed, apparently. Ivan Perisic. Congratulations on your win. Pulisic is such a mug. Don't you dare talk about the LeBron James of soccer like that. Don't you dare. Havertz has just left something on. There we go. It's all heating up a little bit there. Havertz just left something on Romero. He's just been given a yellow card there, Kai Havertz. He does need to be careful. Højbjerg's just trying to get him to calm down a little bit, but Havertz leaving one on Christian Romero for no reason whatsoever, really, as Romero pulled it back just to sort of get into his head, and then a little bit of a squaring off between the two of them. Havertz, of course, 6'2", 6'3", towering over the top of Christian Romero. Well run back by Conor Gallagher. Could this be his moment? Conor Gallagher cuts inside. Oh, it's such a clumsy fake shot from Conor Gallagher after some really great play. A great win of the ball high up the pitch there from Conor Gallagher. I thought that could have been his moment. I thought he was going to take it first time, but he really did well there, and Havertz was very clever to roll it into him, but Spurs just not getting themselves back into this game now that they're 2-1 down, and Reece James driving the ball forward, looking for Christian Pulisic. Would love to see him on the score sheet today. If we can get Pulisic on the score sheet, I'd love to see every Chelsea player on the score sheet, but particularly Christian Pulisic, who I don't think we've seen the best of for a little while. Not since Project Restart, really. We've not seen the best of him when he pulled Manchester City apart, and did a very good job as well, even though we lost 4-2 to Liverpool in one of those games as well. Came on, made an impact, got us 2 goals, or a goal and an assist, should I say. But we've not seen the best from Christian Pulisic in a Chelsea shirt. And maybe that's just me being over optimistic, but maybe we have seen the best of him, and maybe that was Project Restart. But we've got about 3 minutes left on the clock here. Chelsea need to try and see this out. They either need to commit and get themselves a goal. There are gaps opening for Chelsea, and there's another one that has just been found there as Thiago Silva won the ball up high. Mason Mount can look up and see. He might be able to pick out a pass towards Pulisic there, but Havertz lets the ball run for some reason. It just rolls through his legs. That Liverpool, it was 5-3 Liverpool, wasn't it? Yeah, that was it. I think it was 3-1, and then Pulisic came on. Wait, no, it was 3-1, Pulisic came on, then it was 4-1, and then Pulisic got 2, and then you got another. And it was just so close to actually being good. But that Liverpool-Chelsea game anyway was an exciting one. If you're going to lose, you might as well lose in an exciting game. Christian Romero, Kai Havertz having a bit of argy-bargy again there. I'm not sure Romero really needed to lash out, if you will. They're proper going for each other, these two. There's a little bit of beef just settling in there. Havertz, of course, looks like he might have rattled him. Harry Kane nicks the ball back off Conor Gallagher. Kane rolls it out wide to Richarlison, who's being marked by Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta does really well, though, against a man who is a lot quicker than him. Does really well to regain possession. And what I'm going to do is, guys, I'm going to ask you for your man of the match. I think who I know my man of the match is going to be. He's going to fall between 2 people. Just before I say that, though, Havertz is going to be coming off, so clearly Thomas Tuchel is a little bit worried that Chelsea might be ending the game with 10 men. and Armando Broja is going to be coming on. And Havertz needs to be careful, though, that he's not deemed to be time wasting, so that he gets another yellow card, and then Armando Broja can't come on. But I was going to say my man of the match for today for the performance. I mean, Koulibaly's been good, hasn't he? But I think I'm going to give it to Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Ruben Loftus-Cheek for me has been really, really good so far. Koulibaly's maybe been a little bit quiet in this second half, which is why I'd have to give it to Loftus-Cheek. His on-ball play has been fantastic. The dribbling is shown. His cool, calmness, awareness, and he's played in 2 or 3 different positions just in this game for Chelsea, showing that diversity that Thomas Tuchel loves and that we really, really need. But Armando Broja is on, so let's see if he can make an impact with the very little time. He might have maybe maximum of about 5 minutes here, like I say, with all the kerfuffle and confusion following the Pierre-Emile Højbjerg goal. Let's have a look. It is 6 minutes of added time, so plenty of time if someone like an Armando Broja wanted to make an impact, but also plenty of time for Tottenham to get themselves a late equaliser, and surely there wouldn't be a response there as Loftus-Cheek. Surely Loftus-Cheek is fouled there. Referee says no sirree, but Chelsea win the ball back anyway, so doesn't really make too much of a difference. But to be honest with you, I did think that was a foul on Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So we have 6 minutes of added time at the end of this second half. That's a good ball over the top. Looking for Ivan Perisic. Perisic cuts in on that right foot. As Max says, a 2-footed wing-back. We lift the title that game. Was it that game that you lifted it? Because I remember Chelsea also beat Manchester City, which basically made it mathematically impossible for them to win the league. And Chelsea did you a favour, like we did with Leicester when we beat Tottenham again. That throw-in from Tottenham, flicked on by Eric Dyer, straight onto the face of Harry Kane. Harry Kane, I must say, has been a little bit quiet in this game. Max, I don't know what you thought to Harry Kane in this game. It keeps rhyming. But it seems a little bit quiet for the English captain. The Chelsea fans are in full voice in Stamford Bridge. Can Chelsea hold on? They've got just over 4 more minutes of football left to be played here at the Bridge. As Pulisic puts on a press, Armando Broja puts on a good press, which goes out of play for a goal kick. Now they're wasting their own time here. Hugo Lloris didn't wait for the ball to be stopped before he resumed play. As my stream decides it would like to drop out, so let me just refresh everything. Ivan Perisic on this left-hand side. He's going to roll it out wide to Kane, and he's been absolutely bodied by Reece James there. But somehow the referees deem that as a foul. I'm not quite sure on that one, and Reece James feels the same way. He's kind of a laughing look from Reece James. He's absolutely bodied Harry Kane. Absolutely bodied him. There was no chance that he was going to get himself up there. Max says 2 words, August Kane. Seems to be the case. You've got 3 minutes for August Kane to prove you wrong. That seems like a really, really strange name, August Kane. But you've got about 2 minutes, 3 minutes for Harry Kane to, can he break that duck, if you will. Kane is awful in August. I don't know, like I say, with Harry Kane, I don't know if it's one of those where, that's a decent ball in from that free kick. It's going to fall to the edge of the box for Bissouma. And it's spanked over, takes a deflection off Conor Gallagher, I believe, on the way through. I don't know if it's one of those where, like Harry Kane, because he's, so vital, maybe it's just a slow start, maybe he doesn't come back well after pre-season. Obviously, everyone's bodies work slightly differently. Like, when I don't play football for a while, my coordination will go, like, my dribbling drops off massively. Maybe he's one of those people, maybe something just drops off Oh my gosh, that was flicked on at the front post, and that is an excellent, excellent save from Edouard Mendy. An excellent save. But like I say, maybe it's just one of those things for him where he starts slow because he's just getting himself fully and completely back up to speed. That was an important hand there from Edouard Mendy. Another corner though for Tottenham Hotspur. Not out of the hot seat just yet, Chelsea. And I'm sure they'll do a bit of time wasting if they can get the ball into the hands of the Chelsea goalkeeper. What are we looking at here? There's just a little bit of a delay to the resuming of the football. And I think it's because Cucurella was being manhandled at that back post by Sergio Romero, who's pulled his hair. This is interesting. Cucurella is not happy. VAR deems it not to be a problem. Just keep your composure, Cucurella. Let's not concede from this. Into the 6 minute of stoppage time we go. It's whipped in. It's headed on, and it's gone in. Richarlison, or is it Harry Kane? It's bloody August Harry Kane. Max, how? Honest to God, what is going on? Spurs have just nicked a point right at the death. They have not deserved this whatsoever. And Chelsea again have switched off. A heat of a moment, and they've switched off again, man. I don't know why they do it. I don't know why they do it. They switch off in the heat of the moment when it's important. Chelsea switch off, and it's so easy. The ball gets whipped in. Harry Kane just flicks it on, and it goes into the back of the net. I had no clue who scored that. About 4 different people ran off celebrating, pretending it was them. And it was Kane. It was Kane. But there's 3 Tottenham players all stood in a line there. There's Ben Davies, 4 of them, and no one's marking them. Koulibaly and Reece James on the line, neither of them. People just leave Harry Kane. You cannot leave England's top goal scorer. You cannot leave Harry Kane in the box on by himself. You cannot leave him in the box by himself. God's sake, man. I was hoping VAR would just somehow come to my aid there. But clearly not. I'm a little bit... The Cucurella thing, I'm not obviously saying that, you know, that would have stopped the goal. But again, it's the heat of a moment, and it has stopped, and Chelsea have lost their cool, and they've lost, you know... Usually they wouldn't make that mistake, in my opinion. Usually they would not be making that mistake, and they've made a mistake there because they've got into the heat of the moment, and Chelsea, you know, and that is full time. There we are on full time. I do apologise for being off the screen. Like I say, I'm still trying to get this all worked out, but it's all kicking off once again. All kicking off once again between Chelsea and Tottenham here. These are the scenes that we don't want to see. We don't mind a bit of late drama. We don't mind a bit of argy-bargy on the pitch. But when it's taken, Antonio Conte there has just been sent off in the final stages of the game. So he's been sent off. So he won't be a feature of the drama next weekend. So Conte's just been sent off, and I don't know what's been said or what's happened here. Thomas Tuchel might be in with a little bit of trouble, but Antonio Conte has been sent off, which shows, you know, this fixture is always very feisty, and it always has that. You know, cast your mind back to the Battle of the Bridge. But today, Chelsea, when it came to it, they lost their heads when decisions didn't go their way, and it's ultimately cost us 2 goals. And the first goal, I mentioned it earlier, the amount of opportunities to clear it we had was monumental. There was too many. There was absolutely too many. And then Cucurella, Aaron says the ref was 2 metres away and looked directly at him, pulling him to the ground by his hair. I hate this match fixing. Excuse me. Both manager reds, apparently, according to Max. But, like I say, there is a claim there that Christian Romero there should have been a foul in there on Cucurella. That next corner shouldn't have happened. But Chelsea have lost their heads once again at an important moment because of a decision not going their way. And it keeps happening. We've seen it twice in this game. They had an attitude problem last season, and it's coming back to bite Chelsea on the backside. Tonight, they have dropped themselves 3 points, which were pretty much in the bag because there was 4 Tottenham Hotspur players just stood in one area. They made it so easy for Tottenham to get their noggins on it. It was unbelievably easy. One of them was going to get it. If Kane didn't get it, Ben Davies would have got it. If Ben Davies didn't get it, Richarlison would have got it. There was another body in there as well. I can't remember who else was in there. But, you know, Chelsea, I've been impressed with them for first 45 minutes. They were fantastic. They had good moments and good spells in here. But fundamentally, we're going back to what I said last season, what we saw against West Ham last season, which was that Chelsea have a bit of an attitude problem. When things don't go their way, they're not willing to knuckle down and get themselves back and get them a result. And we've seen that today, this afternoon. Credit to Spurs, you know, they've capitalised on these positions. Højbjerg scored a fantastic goal. Harry Kane, obviously, a big moment for him to score there. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, break that August duck. I did say, can he break it? And unfortunately, 20 seconds later, he did. But like I say, you've got to give Spurs credit. In that first half, they were nowhere near Chelsea, but they kept themselves in the game. It was still 1-0. Chelsea weren't clinical enough. And it's the same storylines as always with Chelsea. Chelsea aren't clinical enough, they don't have a good enough mentality, and they drop points as a result of it. If Chelsea want to be able to challenge Manchester City or Liverpool this season, or anyone in that sort of top 2, top 3 area, even the likes of Spurs, they've got to improve that mentality. And unfortunately, they just haven't done it today. They really haven't done it today. But we're just seeing actually what happened between Tuchel and Conte, and it all just kind of spells from a little bit of a discussion between the two of them, and that's what sets it all off. I don't know, Conte looked very displeased with maybe the grip strength of Thomas Tuchel. I don't know what I'm saying, but he looked very... And then he, for some reason, just kicked off for absolutely no reason. Antonio Conte, probably a little bit of little man syndrome. But to be honest with you, I don't know why Conte would be like that. He's just won. He grabs his hand for longer. Thomas Tuchel grabs his hand for longer, and he just squeezes his hand. That's... I'm sorry, that's such a childish thing. I know I shouldn't laugh at that because it's ended up in something that's really horrible. But how many times do you see like older siblings or younger siblings do that to each other? It's such a childish thing between the two of them. It is unbelievably childish. And the fact that Conte has spat his dummy out over that is unbelievable. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe that. It's the reaction of Conte which has got him sent off. It was absolutely needless. Let's see if Tuchel does get sent off. He does get sent off, so you are right, Max. When we were looking at the replays, it didn't actually show it because obviously Tuchel looked a lot more calm. Of course, Azpilicueta went over to try and speak to his former manager, but it's so childish from the pair of them, and it's not going to make for good reading in the next game. But I will leave it there, guys, because I want to go have my tea. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. If you have, do be sure to smash that like button for us and do hit subscribe. I hopefully will see you all on the next stream, provided we don't have any power cuts like yesterday. Chelsea, like I say, disappointing today. Really disappointing result at the end of it. Probably should have had the points. But again, there is a question there around should Cucurella have been given that foul for the hair pull? Should Romero still be on the pitch? There is potentially an argument from there. But Chelsea have to keep going until the final whistle, and they can't switch off. And once again today, they've done the same thing. And they've switched off, and it's lost them points. Right, guys, I shall see you later. Thank you for watching, and most importantly, I'm going to have to go to my laptop, so this is going to be a bit awkward. Stay safe.